Chapter 454. Where's that good-for-nothing brother of mine? Why don't I see him? Feng Peilong smiled. Hearing Feng Peilong's words, the smile on Lu Wan's face froze. She revealed a very sad expression and sighed softly. What happened? Feng Peilong's eyes flashed. Lu Wan's expression gave him a bad premonition. Brother Feng Yuan, he's dead. Lu Wan looked very sad. Her eyes reddened and tears flowed out. What happened? How did Feng Yuan die? Feng Peilong's gaze suddenly became incomparably cold as he hurriedly asked. Although Feng Yuan was usually very lecherous and liked to flirt, Feng Peilong doted on his brother. Now that he heard the news of Feng Yuan's death, his expression became incomparably unsightly. Even the black-robed old man and the other Feng clansmen's expressions suddenly changed. Feng Yuan was killed by bandits. At that time, he and I were on the adventure ship. Lu Wan recounted the adventure ship's encounter with the reincarnation beast, their narrow escape from death, and their encounter with the Black Wind King. Hearing Lu Wan's words, Feng Peilong's eyes instantly became incomparably gloomy and filled with cold killing intent. Where's that Ling Xiao you mentioned? I have a few questions to ask him. Feng Peilong's voice was very cold and filled with suppressed anger. Ling Xiao is currently at the Lu clan. Lu Xiongshi sighed softly. He looked at the black-robed old man and said, Brother Feng, I'm really sorry. Feng Yuan wanted to go to the reincarnation sea with Wan. We didn't protect him well. This has nothing to do with Brother Lu. If Feng Yuan really died in the hands of bandits, then it's his bad luck. However, if someone harmed him with ulterior motives, my Feng clan of Tianfeng City will not be bullied by anyone. The black-robed old man also said coldly. His eyes revealed a trace of cold light. Go invite young Master Ling. Lu Xiongshi sighed softly. He didn't expect that a hedonistic son of a rich family like Feng Yuan would have such deep feelings for Feng Peilong. If that was the case, then the Lu clan would be in trouble. No need, I'm here. The crowd parted to the sides as Ling Xiao walked in calmly and indifferently. Ever since the members of the Feng family arrived, Ling Xiao knew that the Feng family would probably not let Feng Yuan's death go easily. However, Feng Ziziz's death, so Ling Xiao had nothing to fear. You're Ling Xiao. Feng Peilong's eyes were cold. He glanced at Ling Xiao indifferently and found that Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the 9th level of the supreme power realm. A trace of disdain appeared in his eyes. Ling's T.S. Ling Xiao, did you collude with the Black Wind King to kill my brother Feng Yuan? S. Pilts. T.S. Feng, ing.s. he. T.s.'s. S. Would. A sharp glint flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, and he said coldly, how Feng Yuan died, Miss Lu has already explained it clearly. I think your ears shouldn't be deaf, right? If I'm in cahoots with the Black Wind King, why would I kill him and all the bandits? Who doesn't know that Wan has the Heavenly Star bloodline? Who knows if you deliberately killed all your accomplices in order to win the heart of the beauty? Isn't it too much of a coincidence that you're here? Fengzi's. He was surprised that but he still sneered. Everyone was stunned. They couldn't rule out this possibility. After all, Lu Wan's Heavenly Star bloodline was too precious. It was worth the risk. Ling Xiao didn't accept the Lu clans. He didn't leave either. Many of the Lu clan's disciples thought Ling Xiao had ulterior motives. Lu Tianlin said, Ling Xiao, young Master Feng is right. How can you prove that you're not in cahoots with those bandits? Me? Prove it. Ha ha ha. Ling Xiao laughed and sneered at Feng Peilong and Lu Tianlin. He could see that the Lu clan and the Feng clan were in cahoots. Miss Lu, you know best how I saved you. You should be able to prove that I'm not in cahoots with those bandits, right? Ling Xiao looked at Lu Wan, indifferently. Lu Wan, looked at Ling Xiao apologetically. Young Master Ling, Wan, is very grateful for your saving grace. But Brother Feng's suspicion isn't without reason. I can't prove it for you. But don't worry, Brother Feng won't make things difficult for you as long as you can show evidence. Fuck your mother's bullshit. Ling Xiao suddenly cursed. Feng Peilong, Lu Wan, Lu Tianlin, and the others' faces darkened. Ha ha ha. Lu Wan, I didn't expect you to be such a person. I saved your life, but you want me to prove my innocence. How do you expect me to prove my innocence? I didn't expect the Lu clan to be so rotten. Are you worthy of Lu Guqin? Ling Zhao's eyes were filled with disappointment. He felt sorry for Lu Guqin. If Lu Guqin knew that there was such a group of descendants, he would probably jump out and strangle them all. Ling Xiao, you saved Wan, We are all very grateful to you. But if you really are in cahoots with those bandits, you will pay for Feng Yuan's life today. Lu Tianlin said expressionlessly, his voice cold. Ling Xiao, is the name of my Lu clan's ancestor something you can casually say? Clean your mouth. Lu Xiongshi also spoke, his voice cold. Ling Xiao, when Wan, and Feng Yuan were kidnapped by the bandits, why did you wait until Feng Yuan was killed before jumping out to save them? I think you clearly have ulterior motives. Feng Peilong said coldly, his eyes filled with killing intent. There were too many coincidences. Feng Peilong didn't believe that Ling Xiao just happened to pass by that desolate mountain range and just happened to save Lu Wan after Feng Yuan was killed. From Lu Wan's description, Ling Xiao killed the Black Wind King, who was at the first tier of the Heaven tier, in one move. This meant that if Ling Xiao wanted to intervene, he could definitely save Feng Yuan. But Ling Xiao didn't. Based on this point alone, Feng Peilong couldn't let Ling Xiao go. Feng Yuan was dead, so Ling Xiao would pay for it with his life. Ha ha ha. If you want to condemn someone, you can always find a pretext. Doesn't your Feng clan want my life? I, Ling Xiao, am right here. If you have the ability, come at me yourself. Ling Xiao laughed in anger. His eyes were full of mockery and cold light, without the slightest fear. Young Master Ling, what do you think? Wan has a way to prove your innocence. Chapter 455. Oh. What is it? Ling Xiao glanced at Lu Wan, indifferently. Lu Wan, smiled and said, Young Master Ling, although I am very grateful for your saving grace, Feng Yuan's death is of great importance. Please understand our difficulties. My method is to search your soul memories. As long as young Master Ling agrees to let my grandfather and Grandpa Feng search your soul memories, it will be easy to prove your innocence. As if afraid that Ling Xiao would not agree, Lu Wan, explained, my grandfather and Grandpa Feng are both experts of the Emperor Dao. They have precise control over the power of their primordial spirits and will not harm young Master Ling's soul. If it is proven that young Master Ling is not related to the bandits, Wan will definitely apologize to young Master Ling. Soul search? That's a good idea. Feng Peilong's eyes flashed and he sneered, Ling Xiao, since you say that you are not related to the bandits, do you dare to accept the soul search? Lu Xiongshi and the black-clothed old man also nodded as a smile appeared on their faces. Wan is right. Soul search is indeed the best way to prove your innocence. Soul search? Ling Zhao's eyes instantly became incomparably cold. Looking at Lu Wan's smiling face, a towering rage suddenly rose in his heart. This woman was truly vicious and scheming. Ling Zhao's sea of consciousness contained too many secrets. The secrets of rebirth, the secrets of the wordless heavenly book, the secrets of the martial way primordial spirit, and so on. These could not be revealed to others. If Lu Xiongshi and the black-clothed old man knew these things, it would be strange if they did not become greedy. Moreover, Ling Xiao had never intended to leave his life in the hands of others. What? Could it be that you have a guilty conscience and do not dare to accept the soul search? Feng Peilong sneered. Ha ha ha. I have finally seen it today. Lu Wan, you are ruthless. However, why do I, Ling Xiao, need to explain my actions to others? You want to search my soul? Impossible. Despicable and shameless things like you are not worthy of searching my soul. Ling Xiao laughed loudly. His voice was impassioned and his eyes were clear. He looked at Lu Wan, Feng Peilong, and the others with an arrogant temperament. This brat is unwilling to soul search. It seems that he really is related to the bandits. That's right, he has a guilty conscience. Kill him and avenge young Master Feng Yuan. The Feng family's disciples all sneered. Feng Peilong exuded a powerful aura. He looked coldly at Ling Xiao and said, Ling Xiao, you're not willing to accept the soul searching. It looks like you really are related to those bandits. Since that's the case, I'll take your life as an apology to my brother. Boom. A domineering sharpness permeated Feng Peilong's surroundings. It was as if the resplendent stars had descended, forming a resplendent astral blade around him. It was boundless. If you want to fight, then fight. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Ling Xiao sneered, his eyes filled with cold murderous intent. Looks like there's going to be a massacre in the Lu clan manor today. The last bit of pity Ling Xiao had for Lu Guqin also disappeared. There was no one in the world that couldn't be killed, even if it was Lu Guqin's descendant. Presumably, even if Lu Guqin knew in the underworld, he wouldn't blame Ling Xiao. There was a hint of guilt in Lu Wan's eyes, but it disappeared in a flash. Her face soon returned to its usual indifference. Ling Xiao, you can only blame yourself for having ulterior motives towards me. My husband can only be a peerless genius like Feng Peilong. I, Lu Wan, am not someone you can associate with. Lu Xiongshi, Lu Tianlin, and the black-robed old man from the Feng family all had indifferent looks in their eyes. In their opinion, Ling Xiao was just a brat at the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm. Feng Peilong could kill him with a flip of his hand. Killing Ling Xiao wasn't the most important thing. Someone had to bear the Feng family's anger for Feng Yuan's death. Ling Xiao could only blame himself for being too weak. Big brother Feng, he's just an ant at the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm. Why do you need to deal with him? Let me send him on his way. A disciple of the Feng family stood out and smiled at Feng Peilong, Feng Chun. Very good. Feng Peilong glanced at the disciple of the Feng family and nodded. Feng Chun had a cultivation base at the 3rd layer of the Heaven Tier and cultivated the Feng family's low-grade Heaven Tier martial art, the Great Monument Smashing Hand. He had already cultivated it to the major accomplishment stage, making him practically invincible among those of the same level. His pair of iron palms could melt gold and forge iron, possessing unparalleled might. After all, Feng Peilong was an expert in the noble realm. If he dealt with Ling Xiao, his reputation would be tarnished. Moreover, he had his own status, so it was better to let Feng Chun do it for him. Feng Chun sneered at Ling Xiao and said, Brat, remember, the person who will kill you is called Feng Chun. Boom. Feng Chun's body was surrounded by a terrifying innate gang qi. One of his hands was surrounded by a black light and turned black in an instant. It contained a terrifying killing power. Feng Chun sneered and sent a palm strike towards Ling Xiao. The ultimate move of the Great Monument Smashing Hand? It seems that Feng Chun wants to kill Ling Xiao with one move. This brat is dead meat. Many of the Feng family's disciples exclaimed as they looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of mockery. Ling Xiao looked extremely calm in the face of Feng Chun's attack, but his eyes were extremely cold. Boom! Just as Feng Chun's palm was about to hit Ling Xiao moved. A resplendent golden light exploded as Ling Xiao punched out. Heaven and earth rumbled as the roar of a dragon filled the air. Feng Chun felt an ice-cold killing intent that caused his scalp to go numb. His expression changed greatly. Crack! Feng Chun's arm was instantly smashed into pieces by Ling Xiao's punch. Blood splattered everywhere, accompanied by Feng Chun's miserable howl. Ling Xiao's punch did not lose its momentum. After smashing Feng Chun's arm, it landed on Feng Chun's chest. Feng Chun's chest was instantly blown into a large hole. His heart was turned into dust. His screams stopped abruptly. His eyes were filled with disbelief as he flew back dozens of feet. He fell at Feng Pei Long's feet and died. "You're just an ant. I have no interest in knowing your name. Feng Pei Long, come here. I guarantee that I'll beat you up so badly that even your mother won't recognize you." Ling Xiao pointed at Feng Pei Long, his eyes filled with incomparable coldness. "What?" Feng Pei Long's eyes were filled with shock. Feng Chun, who was at the 3rd level of the heaven tier, was killed by Ling Xiao with a single punch. Such a scene was too shocking. The disciples of the Lu family and Feng family were stunned for a moment, as if they were in a dream. However, the thick smell of blood in the air and Feng Chun's mangled corpse told them that it was real. This brat hit his cultivation base. The black-robed old man's eyes shone brightly as he pointed at Ling Xiao and shouted. "Hit his cultivation base?" Everyone was stunned and looked at Ling Xiao. Chapter 456. At that moment, Ling Xiao's clothes were whiter than snow and he was surrounded by golden clouds. His eyes were filled with unruly divine light as he looked at the people from the Feng family. I knew that this little bastard had ulterior motives. He hid his cultivation. I think he is in cahoots with those bandits. Lu Tianlin pointed at Ling Xiao and sneered. "Shut up, old dog. Do you believe that I can kill you within 10 moves? Ling Xiao suddenly roared. His eyes were filled with murderous intent as he looked at Lu Tianlin coldly. Ling Xiao was extremely disappointed in the people from the Lu family. Compared to the Feng family, the one that Ling Xiao hated the most was the Lu family. Lu Wan, ask yourself honestly. If I had not killed those bandits, you would have been ridden by thousands of bandits and gang-raped by tens of thousands of people. You still have the guts to put on an act here? If I had ulterior motives, 3 days would be enough for me to take away your vital yin and your heavenly star bloodline." Ling Xiao's black hair fluttered. His eyes were like steel as he looked at Lu Wan, coldly. "If you had become a withered flower, do you think Feng Pei Long would still treat you like this? You can please Feng Pei Long, but you shouldn't use me to please him. If Lu Guchen were still here, he would kill you unfilial descendants with his own hands." Lu Wan's face instantly turned pale and her body trembled. "Ling Xiao, you bastard." Ling Xiao sneered. "I'm a bastard? Can I be compared to the bastards from the Lu family? Those who block me today will die. I'd like to see how many lives you have to pay for it. You are merely in the 9th level of the celestial being realm and you dare to be so arrogant? Ling Xiao, since you are courting death, I will send you on your way personally." Feng Peilong's eyes were filled with murderous intent and his voice was extremely cold. Feng Peilong was even shocked and jealous. Ling Xiao looked like he was not even 20 years old and he had already broken through to the 9th level of the celestial being realm. Such talent, even in the Star Palace, only a few demons could be compared to him. Even if Feng Peilong was known as a dragon among men, he only broke through to the 9th level of the heaven tier when he was almost 30 years old. Compared to Ling Xiao, he was too far away. Ling Xiao's talent made him uneasy. With such a peerless talent, once he joined a martial arts holy land, he would definitely be nurtured as a true disciple. Therefore, since he had offended him, he had to completely eliminate him. Boom! An extremely powerful presence erupted from Feng Beilong. His starlight robe shone resplendently, causing the surrounding space to tremble slightly. The specks of starlight seemed to transform into resplendent blade lights, containing the power to destroy everything. Feng Pei Long stood in the air with an ice-cold expression. His murderous intent seemed to have completely locked onto Ling Xiao. Ha ha ha! The person who can kill me hasn't been born yet. You're not worthy. Ling Xiao stood with his hands clasped behind his back. Step by step, he stepped into the air. There seemed to be invisible stairs beneath his feet. His robes were whiter than snow, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. There was an arrogant and invincible aura that permeated the air. There seemed to be the sun, moon, and stars twinkling in his eyes. You're courting death. Murderous intent flashed in Feng Pei Long's eyes. The aura around him condensed, and endless starlight fell. In an instant, it formed a silver battle blade in his hand, and he slashed it towards Ling Xiao. The silver blade light was like the Milky Way. It was extremely resplendent, and there was a cold and terrifying murderous intent. This caused the surrounding experts of the noble realm to change their expressions slightly. Even they felt a great threat from Feng Peilong's saber. This is the upper heaven class martial arts of the Star Palace, the Milky Way / of the Void, someone exclaimed. He had recognized the martial arts that Feng Pei Long was using. The Milky Way / of the Void uses the power of the stars to kill strong enemies. Its power is unparalleled. Although Pei Long has only cultivated it to the small completion realm, ordinary experts of the third level of the noble realm are no match for him. The black-robed elder said with a satisfied smile. If this Milky Way / of the Void is cultivated to the complete realm, it will definitely be a great superpower. To be able to obtain a great superpower at the first level of the noble realm, Pei Long's future is limitless. Lu Xiongshi also sighed. Experts of the noble realm dominated the will of heaven and earth and condensed the power of the primordial spirit. At this moment, when the martial arts that they had cultivated reached the complete realm, they could activate it with the power of the primordial spirit and turn it into a great superpower. There were 9 levels of the noble realm, and each level allowed one to cultivate a great superpower. When all 9 great superpowers were gathered and one reached the peak of the 9th level of the noble realm, one would be able to condense a great superpowered Dharma and become an expert of the imperial path. However, it was too difficult to condense a great superpower. Ordinary lower heaven class martial arts and middle heaven class martial arts could be condensed into a small superpower, while upper heaven class martial arts and absolute heaven class martial arts could be condensed into a great superpower. As for the legendary paragon martial arts, they could be condensed into a great superpower. Ling Xiao could feel that Feng Pei Long / already possessed the power of a great superpower. It was unpredictable and had unparalleled power. If Feng Pei Long had really condensed a great superpower with the Milky Way / of the Void, he might have been able to compete with Ling Xiao. However, the Milky Way / of the Void was merely at the small completion realm. In Ling Xiao's eyes, it was full of flaws. 4 elephants striking the sky. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with murderous intent as a terrifying power erupted from his body. He punched out and instantly, the power of the 4 elephants of earth, water, wind, and fire exploded. They instantly intertwined and transformed into a chaotic fist print that swept across the sky. Rumble. The terrifying vision of heaven and earth erupted like a volcano, causing many people to feel a suffocating pressure and their bodies to feel extremely cold. The originally powerful Milky Way / of the Void actually exploded in an instant, and Feng Pei Long was sent flying by Ling Xiao's punch. Unparalleled divine power assaulted him. The starry robe on Feng Pei Long's body was dazzling and blocked most of the power. However, it still injured Feng Pei Long's internal organs, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. Great superpower. How is that possible? He hasn't even broken through to the noble realm. How can he condense the great superpower? Feng Pei Long's eyes were filled with incomparable shock as he cried out in alarm. Ling Xiao's 4 elephants striking the sky had actually surpassed the category of martial arts and reached the level of great superpower. Feng Pei Long's eyes were filled with disbelief. Furthermore, Ling Xiao's 4 elephants striking the sky was even more powerful than his Milky Way / of the Void. Could it be a legendary great superpower? Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed old man were also greatly shaken. Their eyes were filled with incomparable greed. They were experts of the imperial path. With their insight, they could naturally see that the 4 elephants striking the sky was extraordinary. It had the power to destroy the world. Ling Xiao's identity became extremely mysterious in their hearts. How could someone who possessed such martial arts be a loose cultivator? This brat must be hiding his identity. Lu Wan was also shocked. At this moment, Ling Xiao looked like a god and a demon. Feng Pei Long, who was incomparably powerful in her eyes, could not even last a single round against Ling Xiao. Just who was Ling Xiao? Chapter 457. I don't believe it. You're merely at the celestial realm. How can you condense the power of divine power? It must be some kind of secret technique. Ling Xiao, I'm going to kill you. Feng Peilong's eyes were filled with disbelief. His killing intent was blazing. He couldn't believe that Ling Xiao was stronger than him. This almost drove him crazy. Endless starlight filled his body. There were even silver flames that were dazzling. A silver heavenly blade condensed out of thin air. It contained a power that could destroy everything. However, the heavenly blade gave off a very mysterious feeling. It was as if it didn't exist in this void. It slashed toward Ling Xiao. Pei Long actually forcefully condensed the Milky Way slash of the void into divine power. This child is too reckless. The black-robed old man's expression changed. Feng Peilong's actions would undoubtedly increase the power of the Milky Way slash of the void. However, he would most likely have to bear unimaginable consequences. After slashing out with the blade, Feng Peilong's face became extremely pale. Boom! The silver heavenly blade slashed down. It was like the power of heavenly punishment. It was terrifying and vast. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. This blade was indeed extraordinary. It made him feel slightly threatened. However, it was only a slight threat. Boom! Ling Xiao's body was surrounded by 5-colored divine light. As he punched out, 5 pillars of divine light shot into the sky and formed a 5 elements boundary. It was like a 5-colored divine mountain that pressed down on Feng Peilong. Kacha! The silver heavenly blade slashed on the divine mountain formed by the 5 elements heaven ceiling style. The light was blazing. Endless runes intertwined. Finally, it exploded and turned into nothingness. Ling Xiao stepped on flowing light and used a teleportation secret technique. He instantly appeared beside Feng Peilong and punched out. Bang! The punch landed heavily on Feng Peilong's face. His handsome face instantly swelled up. He spat out a mouthful of teeth and blood. This was the result of Ling Xiao being merciful. Otherwise, Feng Peilong's head would have been blown apart by this punch. Little bastard, are you courting death? The black-robed old man was furious. He didn't expect Feng Peilong to be defeated so quickly. Even the Milky Way slash of the void that he had expended so much effort to display did not cause any harm to Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao acted as if he didn't hear the black-robed old man's words. He punched again, and the other half of Feng Peilong's face swelled up. Ling Xiao, I will definitely kill you. Kill you, Feng Peilong had gone completely mad. His eyes were filled with hatred. But in the next moment, he couldn't curse anymore. Ling Xiao grabbed him by the neck and lifted him up. Ling Xiao's hand was like an iron pincer, causing Feng Peilong's face to turn red. He was almost suffocating. Furthermore, he could feel a terrifying sharpness emanating from Ling Xiao's palm, as if he could crush his neck at any moment. Feng Peilong's body instantly turned cold. His eyes were filled with terror as he felt the threat of death. Let's see if you kill me first, or if I kill Feng Peilong first. Ling Xiao lifted Feng Peilong up like he was lifting a duck. His eyes were cold as he spoke indifferently. There was a huge palm print above Ling Xiao's head. It contained a terrifying power that seemed to be able to destroy everything. But at this moment, it couldn't descend at all. The black-robed old man's eyes were filled with killing intent, but he was still a step too late. Feng Peilong had fallen into Ling Xiao's hands. Ling Xiao, let go of Peilong. Otherwise, I guarantee that you will suffer a fate worse than death. The black-robed old man's voice was piercingly cold as he spoke through gritted teeth. Old thing, scram. You'd better not threaten me. Otherwise, Feng Peilong will definitely die first. Ling Xiao sneered. He held Feng Peilong in his hands and controlled his life. This caused the black-robed old man to hesitate. Ling Xiao sighed inwardly. After all, the black-robed old man was an expert of the imperial path. He had condensed a Dharma form, and every move he made contained unparalleled power. Although Ling Xiao's combat strength was abnormal, he was no match for an expert of the imperial path. I must break through to the noble plane as soon as possible. There are many experts in the war god continent. If I don't break through to the noble plane, I won't even have the chance to fight with those geniuses. Ling Xiao thought inwardly. The peerless geniuses of the war god continent were experts of the noble plane at the very least. Moreover, they all possessed countless peerless martial arts techniques and had condensed powerful divine powers. They were terrifying beyond compare. Although the noble plane required one to condense 9 divine powers, many peerless geniuses would work hard to condense powerful divine powers in the noble plane and suppress their cultivation in order to prove their supremacy and strengthen their martial arts foundation. In Ling Xiao's previous life, he had met a peerless genius who had condensed 81 mystical powers in the noble realm. After breaking through to the Emperor realm, he had broken through 9 levels in a short span of 10 years and directly became a supreme being. Ling Xiao, if you let go of Brother Feng, we guarantee that you can leave safely. Otherwise, with my grandfather and Grandpa Feng here, you won't be able to leave this place. Lu Wan's face revealed a trace of pleading. Your Lu family can even repay kindness with enmity. What guarantee do you have? Ling Xiao sneered, not giving Lu Wan any face. Lu Xiongshi and Lu Tianlin's faces darkened. Ling Xiao was blatantly slapping their Lu family in the face. Father, take out that treasure. That treasure can at least stop Ling Xiao for 15 minutes. By then, he will definitely die. Lu Tianlin transmitted his voice to Lu Xiongshi. His voice was filled with killing intent. Lu Xiongxi's eyes revealed a trace of hesitation. Finally, a sharp light flashed across his eyes. He nodded and said, "All right, since this lad is so reckless, don't blame us for being rude. No one is allowed to destroy the marriage between the Lu family and the Feng family. Ling Xiao, Peilong is an inner disciple of the Star Palace. His master is a half-supremacy. If you dare to kill him, the Star Palace will not let you go. There will be no place for you in the entire war god continent." The killing intent in the black-robed elder's eyes was almost tangible. However, Feng Peilong was in Ling Xiao's hands and he could not do anything. This made him extremely angry. Cut the crap. Old man, get out of my way. After I leave this place, I will naturally let him go. Otherwise, you can just wait to collect his corpse. Ling Xiao sneered and said. All right, everyone, get out of my way. Let him go. The black-robed elder finally compromised. The anger in his eyes was almost spitting out. However, for the sake of Feng Peilong's life, he could only watch Ling Xiao leave. Ling Xiao, today's matter is the fault of the Lu family. I hope you won't harm Feng Peilong's life. There are 10,000 pure yang pills in here. Take it as an apology from the Lu family. Please accept it. Lu Xiongshi smiled bitterly at Ling Xiao. Then, he threw a storage ring to Ling Xiao. No need. I dare not accept something from the Lu family. Ling Xiao sneered. He threw out a palm wind and wanted to slap the storage ring back. However, the storage ring did not fly back. Instead, it sped up and shot towards the space between Ling Xiao's eyebrows. Oh no! Ling Xiao's expression changed. He felt a terrifying force coming towards him. It was not a storage ring. Instead, it turned into a green ancient jade and stuck to the space between Ling Xiao's eyebrows. On the ancient jade, a mysterious and ancient seal script emitted a bright light. Chapter 458. The ancient jade emitted a terrifying aura, and a mysterious restrictive force instantly entered Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, entangling his primordial spirit. Only now did Ling Xiao understand that Lu Xiongshir's intentions were sinister. He did not want to give him a storage ring, but wanted to use this strange ancient jade to suppress Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. In a battle between experts, the slightest difference could lead to a huge difference. Defeat could be decided in an instant. Moreover, Ling Xiao sensed an extremely vast energy from the ancient jade. Even an Emperor Dao expert would probably be restricted for a moment by it. Brother Feng, if you don't attack now, when will you? A cold light flashed in Lu Xiongshir's eyes as he shouted at the black-robed old man. The black-robed old man's eyes revealed a trace of joy. He instantly soared through the air and slammed his palm toward Ling Xiao. Boom! A terrifying force enveloped the area. The palm strike of an Emperor Dao expert could even crush a mountain into dust, let alone Ling Xiao whose soul had been sealed. The palm's power was condensed to the extreme as it slammed toward Ling Xiao's head. It was extremely ruthless, and it was to prevent Feng Peilong from being accidentally injured. Seeing that the palm was about to hit Ling Xiao's head, Ling Xiao's eyes instantly regained clarity, and he revealed a mocking expression. Ling Xiao held Feng Peilong in his hand in front of him to block. No, Feng Peilong roared, and his eyes were filled with despair. Crack! Feng Peilong's head was smashed by the black-robed old man, and blood splattered everywhere. Feng Peilong died with his eyes wide open, and Ling Xiao used a secret teleportation technique to teleport away in the nick of time. Boom! How terrifying was the palm of an emperor! Moreover, the black-robed old man hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. He did not show any mercy in his attack, and Feng Peilong's body instantly exploded into a bloody mist. This scene shocked everyone. The black-robed old man's eyes instantly turned blood-red. Ling Xiao, I'll kill you. His voice was filled with monstrous rage and killing intent, and he was completely deranged. He had originally wanted to kill Ling Xiao, but who would have thought that Ling Xiao would not be restrained by the ancient jade at all? Instead, he had accidentally killed Feng Peilong. Lu Xiongshir and Lu Tianlin's faces turned ugly as well. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. That piece of ancient jade was extremely terrifying. It could even imprison an Emperor Realm expert for a moment. How could Ling Xiao possibly resist it? No matter how hard they racked their brains, they could not figure out why Ling Xiao's primordial spirit was protected by the wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness. Although the ancient jade was strong, it could not break through the protection of the wordless heavenly book. Many thanks to family head Lu for bestowing me with this treasure. This ancient jade is not bad. I will gladly accept it. Ling Xiao glanced at Lu Xiongshir and said indifferently. Ling Xiao's words were like a ruthless slap to Lu Xiongshir's face, causing his expression to become incomparably ferocious. With Feng Peilong dead, the marriage between the Lu family and the Feng family was completely ruined. Henceforth, the Lu family was once again thrown into a precarious situation. Big brother Feng died just like that, died? Lu Wan's face turned incomparably pale. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. At this moment, Ling Xiao, who was hovering in the sky, no longer looked like the young man who was only at the Grandmaster realm. He was clearly a fiend god who could summon clouds and rain with a flip of his hand. Lu Wan's heart was filled with deep regret. If she had another chance, she definitely would not have chosen to be Ling Xiao's enemy. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. With Feng Peilong's death, Lu Wan and the Lu family's plans were all for naught. Ling Xiao, you deserve to die. Even if you die 1,000 times, 10,000 times, it won't be enough to vent the hatred in my heart. Lu Xiongshir growled. His eyes were extremely cold, filled with monstrous rage and killing intent. The two emperors were completely enraged by Ling Xiao. Two extremely terrifying auras intertwined and completely locked onto Ling Xiao. They were about to unleash a thunderous attack at any time. Is your Lu family sure that you want to be my enemy? Ling Xiao glanced indifferently at Lu Xiongshi. Despite being locked onto by the killing intent of two emperors, Ling Xiao's eyes showed no fear at all. Be your enemy? Ha ha ha. An ant in the celestial realm, I can easily destroy it. Are you worthy of being my enemy? Don't worry, I won't kill you easily. I believe that Brother Feng will let you experience endless pain. You will beg for death, but you won't be able to die. Lu Xiongshi laughed loudly. His black robe fluttered as he stood in the air. His originally sage-like face was filled with ferocious killing intent. Ling Xiao, even the emperor won't be able to save you today. Go and die. The black-robed old man's eyes were about to spit fire. They were filled with monstrous rage and there was even a tinge of fear in them. Feng Pei Long was the future hope of the Feng family. He was also a disciple of the Star Palace. Now that he had accidentally killed Feng Pei Long, even if he had accidentally killed Ling Xiao, it would be hard for him to absolve himself from the blame. When he thought of the terrifying consequences, he wanted to cut Ling Xiao into pieces. Rumble. The emperors were enraged. The weather changed and blood flowed. Endless dark clouds rolled and an oppressive and terrifying atmosphere filled the air. The black-robed old man flew across the sky and grabbed Ling Xiao. His eyes were extremely cold. Ha ha ha. Good, very good. Since the Lu family is courting death, don't blame me for not caring about our old friendship. Ling Xiao laughed out of extreme anger. There was a mysterious fluctuation that spread out from his body. In between his eyebrows, there seemed to be a mysterious pattern that flashed. It seemed to be a third eye. Ling Xiao activated the secret skill of the heavenly star god eyes. In an instant, the universe shook and endless starlight fell. It was as though the Milky Way had fallen from the 9 heavens. All of them landed on the silver hill in the manner of the Lu family. Rumble. The heavens and earth shook, and the earth cracked open. The small silver mountain exploded, and countless rocks turned to dust. A silver eye soared into the sky, emitting a terrifying wave of energy that made one's scalp go numb, and it landed in Ling Xiao's hand. Swoosh! A silver destruction divine light shot out at an extremely fast speed. The black-robed old man's arm that he had swung out instantly exploded and turned into nothing. Ah! The black-robed old man gave a horrible shriek. His eyes were filled with shock and anger. The destruction divine light was too fast. It was so fast that he didn't even have time to react. He felt a piercing pain in his arm and his arm disappeared. Heavenly Star God Eyes? That's my Lu family's Heavenly Star God Eyes? Lu Xiongshi exclaimed when he saw the silver eye in Ling Xiao's hand. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Bastard, how could he activate the Heavenly Star God Eyes? Lu Xiongshi was shocked and angry. There was even a trace of fear. The Heavenly Star God Eyes of the Lu family was not a secret. Almost all the upper echelons of the Lu family knew about it. It could even be said that the Heavenly Star God Eyes was the most precious treasure of the Lu family. Chapter 459. Over the past 10,000 years, the Lu family had encountered countless crises. However, every time a strong enemy invaded, the Heavenly Star God Eye would erupt with terrifying power and directly shoot the invaders to death. However, no one in the Lu family could activate the Heavenly Star God Eye. Therefore, although the family heads coveted this treasure, they could not do anything about it. Now, the Heavenly Star God Eye was in the hands of Ling Xiao. This completely overturned Lu Xiongshi's understanding. Ling Xiao, the Heavenly Star God Eye is the treasure of the Lu family. If you return it to us, the Lu family will let you live. Lu Xiongshi looked at Ling Xiao and said coldly. There was even a trace of greed in his eyes. No matter who Ling Xiao was, if they could get the method to control the heavenly star god Ai from him, the Lu family would not need to have a marriage alliance with the Feng family. This treasure was the source of their confidence. Return it to you. Do you think I'm stupid or you are? Today, all of you will die. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent and were full of ridicule. Ling Xiao, don't you like Wan? As long as you give me the heavenly star god Ai and the method to control it, I will make the decision to marry Wan to you. In the future, you will be the heir of the Lu family. How about it? Lu Xiongshi was not discouraged at all. Instead, he used Lu Wan as a bargaining chip to tempt Ling Xiao. Lu Xiongshi believed that Lu Wan's beauty was top-notch in the entire Grand Star State. She was the dream lover of countless young talents. Ling Xiao was certainly no exception. Lu Wan was stunned. However, when she thought about how Ling Xiao had such terrifying combat strength at such a young age, and his talent was peerless. He was much stronger than Feng Peilong. If she could marry Ling Xiao, it would be a good choice. Master Ling, Wan is willing to repay you with her body. Lu Wan said with a blushing face. She looked extremely beautiful. Ha ha ha. Lu Wan, a woman like you who is two-faced and vicious is not even worthy of being my maid. I, Ling Xiao, am a good man with an indomitable spirit. How could I want a vicious woman like you? Stop dreaming. Ling Xiao laughed coldly. His heartless words shattered Lu Wan's beautiful dream. In an instant, Lu Wan's face turned pale. She looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of hatred. Ling Xiao, the heavenly star god eyes can only be activated once every 3 months. There are so many of us here, how many of us can you kill? Hand it over if you know what's good for you. Otherwise, you'll definitely die. Lu Xiongshi suddenly became incomparably unyielding and said coldly. Really? Then you can try and see how many people I can kill. Ling Xiao said indifferently, his eyes filled with killing intent. The reason why the heavenly star god pupil in his hand was terrifying was because it contained destruction divine power. However, once the destruction divine power was exhausted, he would need to absorb star power to continue using it. However, since Ling Xiao was able to control the heavenly star divine eye, he naturally wouldn't release all of his destructive divine energy at once. Against a mere Emperor Realm expert, he didn't need the heavenly star divine eye's full power. Kill him. Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder looked at each other. A fierce light flashed in their eyes as they pointed at Ling Xiao and shouted. Immediately, the experts from the Lu family and the Feng family rushed towards Ling Xiao. Although they were also afraid of the heavenly star divine eye, they were all men of sacrifice for their families. They were determined to die. Boom! More than a dozen experts in the noble realm and dozens of experts in the celestial realm rushed towards Ling Xiao. Each of them exuded a terrifying aura as they attacked Ling Xiao with all their might. You're courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent. The heavenly star divine eye in his hand emitted bright starlight. In an instant, it floated above Ling Xiao's head. Bright silver divine light shot out in all directions. Boom! The densely packed silver starlight was like divine chains of order, exuding an extremely terrifying power. In an instant, it pierced through the glabella of dozens of experts. Blood mist swirled in the void, as if it had turned into an azure hell. Kill! Just as Ling Xiao activated the heavenly star divine eye, Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder seized the opportunity. Killing intent flashed in their eyes as they instantly suppressed Ling Xiao. The two experts in the imperial realm attacked. The sky trembled as a huge dharma appeared in the void, emitting a terrifying aura. Behind Lu Xiongshi was a vast galaxy with countless stars revolving around it. Behind the black-robed elder, there was a peerless war god with a saber in his hand. He emitted a sharp aura that could destroy everything. Ling Xiao, die! Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder attacked at the same time. The vast power of the primordial spirit pressed down like the might of heaven. As long as they could intimidate Ling Xiao, they could stop him from activating the heavenly star divine eye. As long as there was a chance, it would be enough to kill Ling Xiao 100 times. However, Lu Xiongshi forgot that even his ancient jade could not imprison Ling Xiao's primordial spirit, let alone the might of an expert in the imperial realm. Do you think this can stop me from activating the heavenly star divine eye? Die! Killing intent flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. The terrifying pressure of the primordial spirit had no effect on him at all. Instead, the heavenly star divine eye above his head became dazzling. Two silver divine lights, like dazzling divine swords, shot across the sky towards Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder. Oh no! Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder felt their scalps go numb. Their eyes were filled with horror as they instantly activated their cultivation to resist. Boom! Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder were shot by the heavenly star divine eye. Half of their bodies instantly turned into nothingness. Blood spurted out as they screamed in pain. After Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder were seriously injured, the heavenly star divine eye actually dimmed a little. Ling Xiao frowned slightly. He knew that the power of the heavenly star divine eye had been used up by more than half. He had to end this quickly. I'll let you have a taste of my newly comprehended reincarnation superpower. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. He had no mercy for Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder. He wanted to kill them as soon as possible. Buzz! On Ling Xiao's chest, the Tanzhong point emitted a mysterious light. It was gorgeous and dazzling, like the legendary 6 paths of reincarnation. It instantly shot towards Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder. The two of them were seriously injured by the heavenly star divine eye. At this moment, they were howling in pain and did not notice the power of the reincarnation superpower. As a result, they were instantly enveloped by the reincarnation divine light. The reincarnation superpower contained the power of reincarnation of life and death. It could take away a person's lifespan and vitality. It was a supreme superpower created by Pangu at the beginning of time. Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder could feel that the life essence in their bodies was being crazily sucked away by the strange light. In just a moment, the two of them became lifeless. This change made Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder scared out of their wits. They did not have much lifespan to begin with. In just a moment, they felt that they had lost at least 60 years of lifespan. Who is this little bastard? Why does he have so many terrifying means? Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed elder were completely terrified. The loss of their lifespan made them feel the threat of death. Especially Lu Xiongshi, who did not have much lifespan left. At this moment, his life essence was almost dried up. His hair was white, and a trace of death chi appeared on his originally ruddy face. Boom! The two sovereigns struggled to break free from Ling Xiao's reincarnation divine light. Looking at Ling Xiao rushing towards them, their eyes were filled with despair. Chapter 460. Everyone was dumbfounded. Everyone's eyes were filled with terror, unable to believe what they were seeing. Emperors were considered experts who controlled the fortune of the entire war god continent, but Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed old man were forced to such an extent by Ling Xiao. Half of his body was shattered, and under the illumination of that strange divine light, he actually became gloomy, as if he was about to be buried in the ground. Ling Xiao's heavenly star divine eyes were cold, and there was a biting cold murderous intent around him as he charged towards the two emperors. Stop! Like a sudden clap of thunder, an old and angry voice sounded. The wind and clouds in the sky swirled, and an incomparably terrifying figure appeared in the void. As if the void was torn apart, he appeared above Ling Xiao's head and slammed his palm towards Ling Xiao. Half-step supreme being. Ling Xiao's body trembled, and there was a solemn look in his eyes. Under this palm, Ling Xiao felt as if he was facing a vast heavenly might, and he didn't have the slightest strength to resist. It was as if his blood, vital energy, and primordial spirit were all suppressed. He was like an ant facing a divine dragon, and his body couldn't help but tremble. That power was vast, mysterious, mighty, and domineering. It was like the only sun in the world, illuminating the eternal darkness. This was a supreme being. When facing a supreme being expert, ordinary people couldn't even think of resisting. Although Ling Xiao could not move, the heavenly star god eye above his head was moved by him and instantly shot out a vast divine light that contained an endless destructive power. Boom! With this attack, Ling Xiao activated more than half of the destructive divine light in the heavenly star divine eyes. It was boundlessly terrifying, and it directly shot into the sky, blasting the figure in the void. A half-step supreme being expert fell just like that. However, Ling Xiao's eyes didn't relax at all, and his brows were still tightly knitted. No, this is only a supreme being's celestial body. I've been deceived. There wasn't any blood mist, and the figure seemed to have exploded into countless streams of light, scattering in the sky. It was as if he had turned into Tao. Crack! Right after that figure exploded, the void was torn apart. Terrifying turbulence spread out, and a figure with a terrifying aura walked out from it. It was a middle-aged man in a black robe. His hair was half black and half white, and his body was enveloped in faint starlight. His expression was very cold, and his eyes were as deep as the starry sky. As he stood in the air, it was as if he could push open the heavens. His body exuded a vast and unparalleled force, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Ancestor! The old ancestor had returned. Ancestor, please save me. When Lu Xiongshi saw the black-robed middle-aged man, his body suddenly shook. His eyes revealed an extremely excited expression as he shouted loudly. What? Didn't the old ancestor's lifespan run out and he died? Many disciples of the Lu family were shocked. They couldn't believe their eyes. However, those who had seen the great ancestor before knew that the figure in the sky was none other than the Lu family's great ancestor, Lu Changhe. Lu Changhe was said to be a figure of the same generation as Lu Xiongshi's great ancestor's grandfather. He had lived for thousands of years and was the pillar of the Lu family. He was a peerless powerhouse who was half a step away from being a supreme. The fall of Lu Changhe made the Lu family seem to have lost the big tree that sheltered them from the wind and rain. That was why the Lu family couldn't wait to marry the Feng family. The Lu family's great ancestor, Lu Changhe. The black-robed old man's eyes were also shocked. Although he couldn't figure out how Lu Changhe could come back from the dead, Lu Changhe's appearance gave him hope. Senior Lu, save me. This little bastard stole the Lu family's heavenly star divine eyes. He deserves to die. The black-robed old man hurriedly said, his eyes full of resentment. Hand over the heavenly star divine eyes. Tell me how you control them, and I'll let you go. Lu Changhe said slowly, as if he didn't hear Lu Xiongshi and the black-robed old man's words. His cold gaze fell on Ling Xiao as he spoke slowly. Ling Xiao looked at Lu Changhe with a mocking expression and said, hand over the heavenly star divine eyes? On what basis? You don't even know the method to control the heavenly star divine eyes, and you dare to say that it's your Lu family's treasure. Today, it's just returning to its rightful owner. Young man, don't think that just because you can control the heavenly star divine eyes, you can speak to me with this tone. The heavenly star divine eyes were passed down by sovereign heavenly star, and it's my Lu family's clan treasure. It's just that the method to control it was lost countless years ago. How did you get it? Lu Changhe said indifferently, a strange look in his eyes. You don't have to care about that. Which generation of Lu Gachen's descendant are you? Ling Xiao said indifferently. Sovereign heavenly star Lu Gachen is this old man's great-grandfather, but I've never seen him before. Young man, you seem to be very familiar with sovereign heavenly star. Lu Changhe wasn't angry at all, and a blazing light flickered in his eyes. Ling Xiao said, if Lu Gachen knew that his descendants are such a bunch of ungrateful people, I'm afraid he would regret passing down your lineage. Lu Changhe smiled indifferently. Lu family has been passed down for so many years, and it's inevitable that there will be some unfilial descendants. Young man, As long as you give me the heavenly star divine eyes and the method to control it, I guarantee that you'll leave safely. That's impossible. Ling Xiao rejected flatly. It looked like Ling Xiao was chatting with Lu Changhe, but Ling Xiao was on his guard. He was ready to activate the heavenly star divine eyes at any time. Facing an expert who was half a step away from being a supreme martial artist, he didn't dare to be careless. If that's the case, there's nothing more to say. Young man, the heavenly star divine eyes is indeed powerful, but there shouldn't be much destruction divine power left in it, right? If you can't kill it, you'll definitely die. Lu Changhe said indifferently, and there was a biting cold look in his eyes. The black-robed old man sneered and said, Ling Xiao, you killed Feng Peilong. Feng family and Star Palace won't let you go. No matter where you run to, you'll definitely die. Bastard, there's no place for you to interrupt when I'm talking. There was a flash of murderous intent in Lu Changhe's eyes. He slapped his palm, and suddenly, a huge wave soared to the sky, killing the black-robed old man instantly. All of you, go and accompany him. Lu Changhe said coldly. Dozens of blazing sword lights shot out from his palm, piercing through the void and killing all the disciples of Feng family in an instant. Young man, the people of Feng family are all dead. I guarantee that no one will know what happened today. Hand over the heavenly star divine eyes, or else, don't blame me for being impolite. Lu Changhe smiled faintly, and the gaze that he looked at Ling Xiao became even more intense. Ling Xiao felt a chill in his heart. This old man was ruthless. For the heavenly star divine eyes, he even killed all the people of Feng family. Chapter 461. Lu Changhe was a half-step supreme being expert. Although he couldn't be compared to a true supreme being, he already had some of the power of a supreme being. He wasn't someone that Ling Xiao could contend against. If the heavenly star divine pupil was at its peak, Ling Xiao might be able to kill Lu Changhe with a single strike. However, Lu Changhe had previously used his sovereign celestial body to trick most of the divine light of destruction out of the heavenly star god Eye. Now that the divine light of destruction in the heavenly star god Eye was destroyed, Ling Xiao wasn't sure if it could destroy Lu Changhe. I won't hand over the heavenly star divine pupil. If you're not afraid of death, then follow me. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a trace of sharpness. He activated a secret teleportation technique under his feet and instantly fled into the distance. Young man, you forced this old man to take action. Lu Changhe sighed and stretched out his hand to grab Ling Xiao. Boom! Although Ling Xiao's speed was fast, he wasn't as fast as Lu Changhe. That giant hand covered the sky and covered the earth. It contained a terrifying power. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a trace of sharpness. All the divine light of destruction in the heavenly star divine pupil was completely activated by him. Boom! A silver light beam pierced through the void at extreme speed and shot towards Lu Changhe's forehead. Even Lu Changhe's expression changed in the face of this terrifying power. A sliver of pain appeared on his face. Immediately, an ancient piece of jade shone with extremely resplendent light, blocking the space between his eyebrows. On the ancient jade, there was an incomparably mysterious ancient rune character, defense. Kacha. When the divine light of destruction shot out from the heavenly star divine pupil onto the ancient jade, Ling Xiao could see countless runes exploding on the ancient jade. The light was dazzling, but it instantly dimmed, and a crack appeared on the ancient jade. The power of the heavenly star divine pupil was still blocked. Ling Xiao's expression changed. He couldn't help but think carefully. Sure enough, which half-step supreme being expert didn't have a supreme treasure? Although the heavenly star divine pupil was terrifying, it was blocked by the ancient jade treasure when Lu Changhe was on guard. Young man, you caused me to lose this supreme treasure. You'll pay for it with your body. Lu Changhe's eyes flashed with sharpness. The giant hand directly grabbed at the void and pulled Ling Xiao over. Ling Xiao didn't resist because he knew that resistance was useless. Whoosh! Whoosh! Lu Changhe's fingertips emitted a few rays of dazzling sword qi, instantly sealing Dantian, as well as the meridians of his body. As if he felt that it wasn't enough, a high-grade Dao tool-grade rope appeared in his hand, and bound Ling was tied. Ling Xiao was. Ling's TSSS was, he S's, didn't resist, T's, S to, he didn't resist, he didn't, SSS was, T. S Dao's, T S him, S's, S. Wills levels, S wills. S to be. Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly as countless thoughts flashed through his mind. Old ancestor, kill this little bastard. Our Lu clan has been ruined by him. Lu Xiongshir's eyes were full of resentment and anger. Lu Changhe shook his head. He looked at Ling Xiao with a burning gaze, as if he was looking at a rare treasure. Fortune, what a great fortune. I've searched the war god continent for countless years, but I haven't found a perfect cauldron. This body is simply a perfect cauldron for me. Lu Changhe's supreme being's aura dissipated. In an instant, he turned from a middle-aged man to a wizened old man. His face was full of wrinkles like tree bark, and his body was full of lethargy. His turbid eyes were full of surprise. Cauldron? Ancestor, what do you mean? Lu Xiongshir's gaze changed, and he hurriedly asked. Lu Changhe ordered the other disciples of the Lu family to leave, leaving only Lu Xiongshir, Lu Tianlin, and Lu Wan-er. Although I've been searching for divine herbs all these years, I can only prolong my feeble existence for a few decades. Now that my qi and blood are weak, I'm afraid I'll really die if I don't have the legendary divine herbs to rebirth me and live another life. Lu Changhe sighed softly, his eyes full of unwillingness. So, there's only one way now, and that's to seize his body. Seize his body. Lu Xiongshir looked at Ling Xiao and said with incomparable surprise, Ancestor, do you want to seize Ling Xiao's body? Although this kid deserves to die, he's really talented and has countless secrets. Although I can't recognize him, I feel that his talent shouldn't be inferior to the peerless geniuses of the Holy Lands. You're right. This kid's life force is unbelievable. It's already reached the limit of what this body can withstand. His physique is very likely the legendary innate saint physique. Lu Changhe said excitedly, I don't dare to seize the bodies of the geniuses of the Holy Lands, but this kid is simply an opportunity bestowed by the heavens. As long as I seize his body and occupy this perfect body, not only will I have endless lifespan, but it won't be impossible for me to break through to the supremacy stage. The innate saint physique was the strongest physique in the legends of ancient times. It was said that it was even more terrifying than the divine physique. As long as every innate saint physique didn't die, they would definitely be able to transcend life and death and become a divine physique in the future. Moreover, the innate saint physique's combat strength was extraordinary and peerless. It was extremely easy for them to fight and defy the heavens. A noble realm expert could defeat a monarch realm expert, a monarch realm expert could defeat a supreme realm expert could defeat a titled supreme realm expert, and a titled supreme realm expert could even slaughter a god. Innate saint physique. This old bastard really dares to dream. If I really had the innate saint physique, I would have recovered to the peak of my cultivation from my previous life. But this old bastard actually wants to seize my body. What the hell is going on? Thoughts flashed through Ling Xiao's mind, and he was furious. No wonder Lu Changhe didn't kill him. It turned out that he had such an idea. If he was really seized by Lu Changhe, then he would be in big trouble. Being seized by the descendant of his own disciple sounded very strange. Perhaps, this is also an opportunity. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. With the wordless heavenly book protecting him, even a supreme realm expert wouldn't be able to bear the consequences if he dared to seize Ling Xiao's body, let alone a half-supremacy. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao immediately controlled the wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness. It turned into a stream of light and merged with his primordial spirit. As for the longevity ring, Ling Xiao hid it in the sky-devouring golden lotus in his Dantian sea of qi. Even Lu Changhe wouldn't be able to find it. Therefore, Ling Xiao wasn't worried about anything. Ancestor, this kid has many secrets. Even the ancient jade with the word seal that you gave me couldn't seal his primordial spirit. You must be careful. Chapter 462. Oh. Even the seal ancient jade can't do anything to him. Let me have a look. Lu Changhe sent a wisp of his primordial spirit into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. A terrifying ripple spread out and took over Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Even Ling Xiao's soul felt cold. Although Ling Xiao knew that Lu Changhe wouldn't kill him for the time being, he was prepared to use the wordless heavenly book to destroy Lu Changhe's primordial spirit. Martial Path Primordial Spirit. Lu Changhe was shocked when he saw the scene in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. In Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, there was a dazzling galaxy, vast and mysterious. A golden figure that was 6 feet tall sat cross-legged in the center. Its face was exactly the same as Ling Xiao's, and it emitted a majestic primordial spirit power. He hasn't broken through to the noble realm, but he has already condensed a martial path primordial spirit, comparable to a peak noble realm primordial spirit. This kid must have an innate saint body. Ha ha ha. Lu Changhe laughed heartily, his eyes filled with excitement. What? Lu Xiongshi, Lu Tianlin, and the others were also shocked. Ling Xiao had broken through to the 9th level of the celestial realm at such a young age, which was already shocking enough. Now, he had condensed a martial path primordial spirit. Compared to Ling Xiao, Feng Peilong was a piece of trash. Not to mention Feng Peilong, even those peerless geniuses from the dance world would pale in comparison to Ling Xiao. Lu Xiongshir's eyes showed a hint of worry. Ancestor, Ling Xiao has such terrifying talent. Could he be from some sacred ground? If you possess him and those sacred grounds find out, we'll be in trouble. What are you afraid of? A cold light flashed in Lu Changhe's eyes, and he said, Our Lu clan will leave Skystar City once I seize his body. Once your ancestor breaks through to the Exalt realm, even those holy lands of the martial Tao wouldn't dare fall out with me. Old ancestor is right. As long as old ancestor can become a paragon, our Lu clan will become an existence comparable to holy lands and hidden ancient clans. At that time, our Lu clan will prosper for 10,000 years, and there will be a place for our Lu clan on the war god continent. Lu Xiongshi was completely convinced, and he became a little excited. Alright, all of you can leave now. I'll prepare to possess Ling Xiao. Without my permission, none of you are allowed to enter the forbidden ground. Lu Changhe impatiently brought Ling Xiao towards the small silver mountain, preparing to possess Ling Xiao there. Yes. Lu Xiongshi glanced at Ling Xiao coldly. Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao pretended to be flustered, but he remained silent arrogantly. Lu Wanner looked at Ling Xiao with a complicated expression, but she did not say anything. Brat, I know you have a lot of secrets, but this old man doesn't want to know now. Wait until this old man takes over your body and fuses with your primordial spirit. At that time, your secrets will be my secrets. Ha ha ha. I really hope you're a disciple of some sacred ground. That way, I'll have another layer of insurance. Lu Changhe looked at Ling Xiao and laughed. His eyes were blazing. If Ling Xiao didn't know that Lu Changhe wanted to possess him, he would have thought that Lu Changhe was gay. He felt a chill in his heart. There was a silver palace on the silver hill. It was shrouded in starlight and looked dazzling. This was the place where Lu Changhe cultivated in seclusion. Usually, no Lu clan disciple dared to disturb him. The entire Silver Hill was the Lu clan's forbidden ground. Standing on the Silver Hill, one could see countless stars twinkling in the sky. The Milky Way was far and wide. The starlight poured down like a waterfall, emitting an incomparably powerful force. As he stood there, Ling Xiao felt all the pores on his body open up. Even his soul felt warm, as if it had become purer. Young man, do you have any last words? If you have any unfulfilled wishes, you can tell me. I'll help you fulfill them. Lu Changhe looked at Ling Xiao and smiled. My wish, you can't fulfill it. If you want to kill, then kill. If this young master frowns, I'm not a man. A hint of impatience appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes. Lu Changhe laughed and said, Good, you have backbone. But you won't die. I'll devour your primordial spirit and occupy your physical body. Then, I'll break through to the sovereign realm, or even the divine spirit realm. At that time, I'll bring you to see the legendary divine realm. Ha ha ha. Lu Changhe was very excited. When he thought of the various benefits after possession, he couldn't help feeling overwhelmed. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of pity. Lu Changhe thought of possession too simply. If he could live another life after possession, how could those true sovereign powerhouses not think of it? After possession, even if he could break through to the sovereign realm, under the sovereign lightning tribulation, he would turn to ashes sooner or later. The sovereign powerhouse Zhou Tian was one body, perfect and flawless. But possession would cause a flaw that could never be made up for. Therefore, even if Lu Changhe succeeded in possession, he would die without a burial place in the future. However, Ling Xiao didn't remind him of this. Anyway, in Ling Xiao's opinion, what Lu Changhe was going to do next would definitely kill him. Walking into the Silver Palace, the two doors were closed. The inside was brightly lit. The silver light shone, making the hall as bright as day. A light flashed in Lu Changhe's hand, and a silver cauldron appeared. It emitted a mysterious light. Countless runes were flickering on the cauldron, like the stars in the sky. A supreme-grade Taoist cauldron. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he was a little surprised. He didn't expect Lu Changhe to have such a precious cauldron. A supreme-grade Taoist cauldron was extremely rare. It wasn't much worse than a true sovereign weapon. You have good taste. This cauldron is called the Thousand Stars Cauldron. I got it from an elder of Star Palace. It's your fortune to be able to enjoy it. Lu Changhe said with a smile. Ling Xiao was slightly stunned and said, You're not thinking of refining me into an elixir, are you? Of course not. It's just that your current cultivation is too weak. After I possess you and cultivate again, it'll take me a lot of time. Today, I'll use the Thousand Stars Cauldron, supreme holy medicine, and many heavenly and earthly treasures to raise your cultivation to the ruler realm. Don't you think this is your good fortune? Lu Changhe's eyes revealed a trace of excitement. You actually know the cauldron refining technique? I didn't expect you to know so much. Ling Xiao curled his lips. Chapter 463. Unfortunately, the cauldron concocting technique was very demanding. Not only did it require countless precious materials, it also required the user to have a supreme constitution. Using the cauldron concocting technique to reach a higher level required 10 times, perhaps even 100 times the amount of resources. It was a luxury that ordinary people would never be able to handle. That said, the benefits of using the cauldron concocting technique were obvious. It allowed one to advance their cultivation base quickly without any side effects. That's why you should be thanking me. Ordinary people would never be able to use the cauldron concocting technique. Consider yourself lucky, young man. Lu Changhe said coolly. Light flickered in his hand as he carefully took out 3 jade boxes. The boxes were made of 10,000-year-old warm jade, and were usually used to store the most precious materials. After opening the jade box, there was a blood-red Ganoderma inside. It exuded a faint fragrance. There was a black spirit fruit. It looked pitch black, but there were many silver stars twinkling on its surface. There was a mysterious crystal. It looked very irregular, but it made the surrounding void begin to tremble. This is a 100,000-year-old blood jade mushroom, a sage medicine. Although it can extend my lifespan for another 60-year cycle or two, for the sake of your fleshly body, I'm willing to throw caution to the wind. Lu Changhe pointed at the blood-colored mushroom. This black spirit fruit is a dark star fruit, a sage medicine that can improve the power of the nascent divinity. And this crystal is a spatial crystal. It's said to be the quintessence of a destroyed minor world. It's a precious treasure that can be used to create spatial treasures. If you use it with your fleshly body, you'll probably gain enlightenment of spatial divine abilities. Lu Chenghe explained. The treasures he took out made Ling Xiao's eyes turn red with envy after seeing them. It was no wonder that Lu Chenghe was an eccentric who had lived for thousands of years. Whether it was the myriad manifestations star cauldron or the other precious treasures, they were all incomparably precious. That was especially true of the spatial crystal. If Ling Xiao wanted to break through to the third level of the heaven-devouring secret magic, the heaven-devourer cauldron level, he would need a lot of spatial crystals. And if he could do that, he would even be willing to fight Lu Chenghe as a noble. In addition to these, Lu Chenghe also took out 100,000 pure yang pills, which contained a vast amount of pure yang spiritual qi, as well as some other natural treasures. Come on, with so many heavenly materials and earthly treasures, your cultivation will definitely improve rapidly. Lu Chenghe said with a smile. Can I refuse? Ling Xiao pursed his lips. Of course not. A bright light flashed in Lu Chenghe's eyes. He waved his sleeve, and the rope around Ling Xiao's body was immediately untied. Then, Ling Xiao's entire body was wrapped up by a copious amount of power, and fell into the pill cauldron. Wang! The Wanxiang star cauldron trembled slightly. Suddenly, the runes on the surface of the cauldron began to shine. It looked like countless stars were rotating. It emitted a mysterious aura. It seemed to have formed a mysterious connection with the stars in the sky. Boom! Above the silver mountain, the starry sky seemed to become resplendent at this moment. Countless starlight fell like a curtain of water, enveloping the entire silver palace. The starlight gathered within the Wanxiang star cauldron, causing it to give off resplendent multicolored light. A silver flame began to rise, looking incredibly beautiful. The star fire. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He did not expect the Wanxiang star cauldron to be able to gather the star fire with the power of the stars. It seemed that this treasure was more precious than he had imagined. Such power was close to the power of a supreme weapon. Inside the pill cauldron, Ling Xiao seemed to have arrived at a chaotic space. He sat cross-legged in it, surrounded by starlight, which spread toward his body. However, Ling Xiao's dantian and meridians had been sealed by Lu Chenghe. Ling Xiao could not cultivate at all. He could only watch Lu Chenghe control his body to absorb the starlight. Boom! The sky shook, as if lightning had pierced through it. Lu Chenghe's eyes were full of blazing light. He continued to add all kinds of natural treasures into the Wanxiang star cauldron. At this moment, Ling Xiao discovered that Lu Chenghe was actually a high-grade alchemy grandmaster. His alchemy technique was extremely skilled. Under the tempering of the star fire, all kinds of spirit herbs were instantly returned to their original state and transformed into the purest medicinal efficacy. When the 100,000-year-old blood jade Ganoderma entered the Wanxiang star cauldron, it instantly turned into a huge crimson dragon. It coiled around Ling Xiao's body, and a vast amount of blood qi was constantly integrated into Ling Xiao's body. The dark star fruit turned into a ball of pure primordial spirit power and integrated into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. The last space crystal was extremely hard. Even under the burning of the star fire, it took a long time before it gradually melted into a crystal-clear liquid. It slowly covered Ling Xiao's body like his skin, crystal clear. Rumble. Lu Chenghe added more than 1,000 kinds of spiritual herbs into the Wanxiang star cauldron, including some precious peerless spiritual herbs and even king herbs. After all the spiritual herbs melted, the 100,000 pure yang pills also erupted. Like a long river of spiritual qi, it poured down from the top of Ling Xiao's head and enveloped him. The star fire filled the air, and Ling Xiao's cultivation began to surge crazily. With so many precious spiritual herbs, even an Emperor realm expert would go crazy. If others knew that Lu Chenghe used so many treasures to refine Ling Xiao, they would probably call him a madman. 9th level of the Celestial Being Realm. peak of the 9th level of the celestial being realm. Just when Lu Changhe thought that Ling Xiao could break through to the noble realm in one go, an extremely strong bottleneck appeared in Ling Xiao's body. That was the bottleneck of the 10th level of the celestial being realm. What? This kid actually touched the 10th level of the celestial being realm, the legendary forbidden realm? As expected of the innate saint body, ha ha ha. Lu Changhe's eyes revealed a trace of shock, but then he opened his mouth and laughed. The stronger Ling Xiao was, the happier he was because this was his physical body in the future. Boom! Under the impact of so many precious treasures, even the calmness of the 10th level of the celestial being realm was broken in an instant. Ling Xiao's body was surrounded by golden light, and a fragrance assailed his nostrils. His physical body was extremely bright. What a good person! If I cultivated by myself, where would I get so many treasures to break through? Lu Changhe is really a good person. Ling Xiao's heart was also filled with excitement. If he didn't know that Lu Changhe was watching his every move, Ling Xiao would have urged the sky-devouring golden lotus to devour the vast essence of the medicine. Chapter 464. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the 1,000-starry tripod. Stars rotated around him, and the dazzling starlight shrouded him like a curtain of water. It was as if he was in the center of the galaxy. Every time Ling Xiao breathed, the stars around him would dim or brighten. Those stars seemed to reflect all the acupoints on his body. Strands of dazzling divine light merged into Ling Xiao's acupoints, slowly increasing his cultivation. To break through from the peak of the celestial realm to the noble plane, one needed to control the will of the world and condense the martial way primordial spirit. Ling Xiao had already condensed the martial way primordial spirit, so all that was left was to control the will of the world. The so-called control of the will of the world was to integrate the power of the primordial spirit into the laws of the world. Then, one's thoughts would have the power to destroy the world. The primordial spirit of a noble plane cultivator was very useful. The most mysterious thing was that they could practice countless martial arts and turn them into their own supernatural powers. They had all kinds of incredible powers. Some kings could spit fire, some could spit water, some could burrow underground, and some could summon the wind and rain. These were all powers of supernatural powers. If one were to say that the mighty ones of the celestial realm could only be considered as slightly more powerful mortals, then the kings would have already begun to shed their mortal bodies and gradually transformed into the realm of gods. At this moment, Ling Xiao's body was flawless. Divine light gushed out, and all the acupoints on his body were opened. It was as if a mysterious god had entered them, making his body crystal clear and flawless. A kind of divine substance began to form. In his dantian, spiritual qi was boundless like the ocean. It formed a solid liquid. Every drop of it contained amazing power. Even in Ling Xiao's Tanzhong acupoint, the origin of life was extremely rich. It was faintly transforming into a new level. Crack! Ling Xiao's body was surrounded by golden light. Silver lightning exploded, and the light was blazing. Strands of light intertwined, exuding a powerful destructive power. Ling Xiao wanted to break through that extreme level. It was as if the world could not tolerate it. There was actually a strong pressure coming. What a powerful physical body. You can even trigger a vision of heaven and earth at the noble plane. If I had such a physical body, I would be able to break through the legendary divine realm, let alone the supreme realm. Lu Changhe's eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. The more monstrous Ling Xiao's performance was, the more elated he felt. Generally speaking, when a martial artist broke through from the peak of the celestial realm to the noble plane, there would not be any worldly anomalies. Only some geniuses who had practiced heaven-defying techniques or had exceptional physiques and bloodlines could trigger worldly anomalies. As for Ling Xiao, it wasn't as simple as just triggering the phenomenon of heaven and earth. It even had a kind of power that heaven and earth couldn't tolerate, and it wanted to send down a lightning tribulation to destroy it. Rumble. Above his head, the starlight was boundless. However, amidst the endless starlight, there were terrifying lightning bolts. A terrifying heavenly might descended. Symbols of the great path filled the void. They were so densely packed that it made one's scalp tingle. Even one's soul was trembling. Ling Xiao's aura rose to the extreme in an instant and he broke through to the noble plane. Noble plane. The powerful power of Ling Xiao's soul permeated the surroundings, as if he could sense the laws of the world around him extremely clearly. With a thought, he could mobilize the endless power of the world. Even though he had already broken through once in his previous life, Ling Xiao's heart was still filled with joy at breaking through to the noble plane again. Only when he reached the noble plane could Ling Xiao have a foothold on the war god continent. Cultivators of the noble plane could practice all kinds of unimaginably powerful superpowers. Some even stayed in this plane for hundreds of years just to practice powerful superpowers and obtain unparalleled power. If a cultivator of the noble plane cultivated enough superpowers, it would be a piece of cake for him to kill an emperor plane cultivator. Due to the limitations of their lifespans, many people could only form 9 superpowers in the noble plane. Therefore, when they broke through to the monarch realm, they could only form the weakest superpowers or Dharma Laksana. It was almost impossible for them to become supremes in the future. Rumble. The moment Ling Xiao broke through to the noble plane, the vast power of lightning in the sky poured down on him. Blazing lightning intertwined. Streaks of lightning roared like dragons, containing a destructive power that made one's scalp tingle. Even though Ling Xiao had broken through to the noble plane, the lightning still made him feel a fatal threat. However, he had Lu Changhe to deal with everything. Boom! Lu Changhe's body glowed. It was as if 2 mountains were rising from his palms. The huge palm print carried the terrifying power of the heavens and rushed into the sky. The power of a half-step supreme being burst out and broke all the heavenly tribulations in one strike. Ling Xiao couldn't help but sigh. Lu Changhe was such a good person. Not only did he help him break through to the next plane, but he also helped him block the heavenly tribulations. Heavenly tribulations of this level were caused by the heavens sensing the birth of a demon and breaking the balance. If Ling Xiao went through the heavenly tribulations by himself, he would be severely injured even if he didn't die. However, in the eyes of a half-step supreme being like Lu Changhe, it was nothing. He can actually trigger the heavenly tribulations. Ha ha ha. Has this kid's physical body reached such a shocking level? But it's still a pity. Lu Changhe's eyes revealed a look of incomparable surprise, but also a little pity. He had used so many precious treasures in the Wanxiang star cauldron, but it only raised Ling Xiao's cultivation to the first level of the noble plane. It was still far from the monarch plane that he had expected. So what if I'm in the noble plane? I'm going to refine the noble plane and cultivate countless great skills. When I reach the peak again, I'll definitely be 100 times, or even 1,000 times stronger than before. Lu Changhe said slowly. His eyes were burning with passion. Buzz! The Wanxiang star cauldron was opened. Endless spiritual energy gushed out and Ling Xiao slowly floated up. Ling Xiao's clothes had long been burned to ashes. His skin was like jade, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. His entire body was shrouded in a faint golden glow. His figure was extraordinary, and one could feel that there was an incomparably terrifying power hidden within Ling Xiao's body. He opened his eyes. It was as if the divine light that could split the sky and earth had pierced through the endless void. It was deep and ethereal. How do you feel? Lu Changhe asked with a smile. Good, very good. Ling Xiao nodded. Lu Changhe was really a good person. If it wasn't for Lu Changhe, Ling Xiao didn't know how long it would take for him to break through to the noble plane. Ha ha ha. How can I not do my best to prepare a physical body for myself? Brat, you can fuse with this old man now. Lu Changhe couldn't hold it in any longer. He suddenly laughed out loud, and his eyes revealed an incomparably blazing light. Chapter 465. Boom! a powerful primordial spirit power spread out. Between Lu Changhe's eyebrows, a dazzling light wrapped around a primordial spirit and shot into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Ling Xiao did not move. His face was calm, as if he had accepted his fate. However, he was sneering in his heart. Possession was the last thing he was afraid of. Lu Changhe thought that Ling Xiao's cultivation was weak, and his cultivation was sealed. Wouldn't it be easy for a half-step supreme being to possess a young man in the noble realm? Boom! Boundless power descended like an invincible expert. Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness was instantly submerged by a cold aura, and he lost control. Young man, let me see what kind of secrets you have. Lu Changhe's eyes were blazing. Several powerful primordial spirit power came from the sky and directly imprisoned Ling Xiao's golden primordial spirit. In front of a half-step supreme being, Ling Xiao's primordial spirit was strong, but it still had no power to resist. Lu Changhe's primordial spirit came slowly. A terrifying aura took control of Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness and tried to devour his primordial spirit. Good! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The wordless heavenly book suddenly turned into a dazzling flowing light and flew out, floating in the air above his sea of consciousness. The feeling of being controlled by Lu Changhe disappeared without a trace. What? Lu Changhe's expression changed. The wordless heavenly book emitted rays of light, like a chain of order, and sealed Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Lu Changhe had no way to get out. Young man, no wonder you're so calm. Is this treasure your trump card? Lu Changhe's eyes flashed coldly as he spoke slowly. Yes. In my sea of consciousness, I'm the supreme being, I'm the god, and you can only die. Ling Xiao smiled. Lu Changhe was really careless. He had sent all of his primordial spirit to possess Ling Xiao's body. It would be troublesome if only part of his primordial spirit power was left. Ha ha ha, the ignorant are fearless. Could it be that you think a mere primordial spirit treasure can stop this old man from taking over your body? Young man, today, this old man will have you convinced. Lu Changhe smiled coldly. His primordial spirit glowed resplendently, and a black needle-shaped treasure slowly floated out. It gave off a deep light, and when Ling Xiao saw it, he felt his hair stand on end. The soul-extinguishing needle is a supreme treasure that I found in the forbidden area, the God Burial Cave. Countless emperors and even half-supremes have died under my soul-extinguishing needle. How can a mere primordial spirit treasure block my soul-extinguishing needle? Young man, wake up! Lu Changhe sneered. The soul-destroying needle turned into a ray of dim light and shot towards Ling Xiao's primordial spirit at an extremely fast speed. After seeing the soul-destroying needle, Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise, but then he sneered. Wang! The wordless heavenly book shone brightly and countless runes filled the air. An ancient and boundless aura spread out. The soul-extinguishing needle seemed to have collided with an invisible barrier and was instantly imprisoned. What? Lu Changhe's expression changed dramatically. According to his estimation, the soul-destroying needle was equivalent to a quasi-supreme weapon, even if it was not a supreme weapon. Its power was unparalleled. How could it not break a primordial spirit treasure? What kind of treasure was that ancient book? The ignorant are fearless. You are right. Lu Changhe, I will kindly accept this soul-destroying needle. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He activated the power of the wordless heavenly book, and suddenly, rays of divine light swept across the sky and rolled towards Lu Changhe. Impossible, this is impossible. Who are you? How can you have such a terrifying treasure? Lu Changhe was completely frightened. However, under the power of the wordless heavenly book, his primordial spirit was so small that it was instantly imprisoned. His eyes were filled with fear. Nothing is impossible. If Lu Gachin knows that he has such a trash descendant, I am afraid that I don't have to do anything. He will kill you. Ling Xiao shook his head, and his eyes were full of indifference. You call my ancestor by his name. Do you know him? Who are you? Lu Changhe did not give up. Although he felt that he could not escape this calamity, he felt that Ling Xiao was more mysterious and terrifying. Lu Guqin is my sixth true disciple. If he knows that his descendant dared to attack his master, how do you think he will react? I have already given you a chance. What a pity. Ling Xiao sighed softly and revealed the secret hidden in his heart. My ancestor's master. You are. You are the sky-devouring supreme. Ling Xiao, ha ha ha. I did not die in vain. I did not expect that the number one supreme from 10,000 years ago would come back to life. Lu Changhe's body shook and began to tremble. His eyes were filled with disbelief as he pointed at Ling Xiao. This news was simply explosive. Lu Changhe's whole body was shaken by it. In fact, the young man in front of him was the master of his ancestor, Lu Changhe. In other words, he was his ancestor. It was ridiculous that he wanted to seize the body of his ancestor. He was simply tired of living. Lu Changhe's mouth was full of bitterness and even a little bleakness. He had spent so much effort, but in the end, it was all for Ling Xiao. However, he was wholeheartedly convinced that he had lost to his ancestor. Now, do you have anything else to say? Ling Xiao said indifferently. Lu Changhe sighed softly and said, Ancestor, I was blind to not recognize you. I, Lu Changhe, have let my ancestor down. Death is not to be regretted. I beg you to give face to my ancestor and let my Lu family live. The Lu family is in a mess and arrogant. You have an unshirkable responsibility. Although I really want to destroy the Lu family, as long as they don't find trouble with me, I will naturally let them live. Ling Xiao said slowly. At the same time, Ling Xiao was rolling his eyes in his heart. If Lu Changhe knew that he was the sky-devouring supreme, he would have killed him with a slap. How could he be stupid enough to want to seize his body? Thank you for your grace, ancestor. These are the remarkable abilities that I have cultivated these years. There are a total of 38 kinds of remarkable abilities. Among them, 30 are minor remarkable abilities, 7 are major remarkable abilities, and 1 is supreme remarkable ability. Perhaps Ancestor doesn't care for them, but they are still useful. A bright star flew out of Lu Changhe's primordial spirit like a golden sun. It was Lu Changhe's comprehension of the remarkable abilities and also the source of his remarkable ability Dharma idol. Ancestor, I have let you down. You don't have to do anything. I will end myself. Lu Changhe's eyes revealed a look of determination to die. His primordial spirit exploded instantly, turning into a dazzling rain of light. Ling Xiao caught Lu Changhe's remarkable ability Dharma idol and could sense that it indeed contained the remarkable abilities that Lu Changhe had comprehended. As long as Ling Xiao was willing, he could integrate this remarkable ability Dharma idol into his primordial spirit and instantly control 38 kinds of remarkable abilities. Chapter 466. Boom! At this moment, a vast and unparalleled power gushed out of the divine sense celestial Laksana and attacked Ling Xiao's primordial spirit at lightning speed. It was Lu Changhe's primordial spirit. I know you're not willing to accept this, but do you think you can do anything to me? Ling Xiao sighed softly. There was no surprise in his eyes. So what if you're my patriarch? As long as I devour you, I'll be the new sky-devouring supreme. All your peerless martial arts and supreme inheritances will be mine. Lu Changhe's eyes were full of fervor. He had used the cicada shedding shell trick just now to deceive Ling Xiao. As long as he could destroy Ling Xiao's primordial spirit in an instant, his possession would be considered a success. Freeze! Ling Xiao uttered a word softly. Lu Changhe's primordial spirit stopped in front of Ling Xiao and was bound by a vast and mighty force. What? Lu Changhe's expression changed drastically. His eyes were filled with horror and he wanted to beg for mercy. Break! Ling Xiao uttered another word. Lu Changhe's primordial spirit immediately exploded. The vast primordial spirit power was devoured by the wordless heavenly book and turned into the purest primordial spirit power, which was then devoured by Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Ling Xiao had long known that Lu Changhe would not die so willingly. As expected, he had the idea of launching a sneak attack. It was a pity that the wordless heavenly book was protecting the primordial spirit. A real supreme master might be able to cause some trouble for Ling Xiao, but Lu Changhe was just an old half-step supreme master. He could not resist the power of the wordless heavenly book. My promise to you still stands. As long as the Lu family doesn't cause me any trouble, I'll let them go. Ling Xiao muttered to himself. There was a trace of emotion in his eyes. I wonder what kind of divine sense is in Lu Changhe's divine sense celestial Laksana. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of anticipation. He sent a trace of primordial spirit power into Lu Changhe's divine sense celestial Laksana. The divine sense celestial Laksana could be said to be the foundation of Tao. It was also the source of one's martial arts. It contained the powerful divine sense law that a warrior cultivated. The reason why Ling Xiao was so interested in unparalleled divine abilities was because among minor divine abilities, great divine abilities, and unparalleled divine abilities, only unparalleled divine abilities contained the most complete laws of heaven and earth. However, supreme divine abilities were too precious and difficult to cultivate. Therefore, unless one was a peerless genius of a great holy land, it was very difficult for ordinary people to cultivate supreme divine abilities. Lu Changhe said that there was a supreme divine ability in his primordial spirit Dharma form, which surprised Ling Xiao. Wang. Lu Changhe's primordial spirit spell form was like another world. Within it, there were 38 bright stars and each star represented a different abhijna. However, just as Lu Changhe said, there were 30 types of lesser abhijnas and 7 types of greater abhijnas. The star in the center looked perfect and flawless. It was also the supreme divine ability that Lu Changhe had mentioned. Great Soul Destruction Art. A gleam of light flashed through Ling Xiao's eyes. He discovered that the supreme ability was called the Great Soul Eradicating Technique. It gave off a mysterious and ancient ripple of laws, containing a power that could obliterate souls. It comes from the same source as the soul eradicating needle. This great soul eradicating technique looks very ancient. Lu Changhe must have brought it out from the cave of the gods. No wonder Lu Changhe dared to possess me. With this great soul eradicating technique, even the primordial spirit of a half-step supreme being will die without a doubt. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of amazement. With his experience, he could naturally tell that the great soul eradicating technique was extraordinary. It contained unparalleled power and directly attacked the primordial spirit. Its power was extraordinary. The great soul eradicating technique's laws are complete. It saves me a few decades of cultivation. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. He did not hold back and immediately used the sky-devouring secret skill. A golden lotus swallowed the star of the great soul eradicating technique and integrated it into Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Boom! Instantly, the infinite mysteries of the great soul eradicating technique were mastered by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao could feel that his cultivation had completely stabilized at LV1 Noble Realm. As for the remaining minor and major superpowers, Ling Xiao did not devour them. He kept them for the time being. Ling Xiao had already decided that the direction of cultivation in the noble plane was to only condense supreme superpowers. He did not want to condense any minor superpowers or major superpowers. In his previous life, Ling Xiao had condensed 11 major superpowers and 70 major superpowers. He had used 91 superpowers to condense a superpower Dharma, which had shocked the world. Now that he was reborn, Ling Xiao's standards were even higher. He no longer cared about major superpowers. If I can condense 91 supreme superpowers, I will definitely surpass the peak of my previous life. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a trace of sharpness. 1 LV1 Noble Realm corresponded to 1 superpower. Cultivating 9 major superpowers would allow one to break through to the Noble Realm. However, there were many geniuses who had condensed dozens of superpowers and had accumulated a lot of experience. However, Ling Xiao knew that the maximum number of supernatural powers a noble plane cultivator could cultivate was 108 supernatural powers. Since ancient times, not to mention 108 divine abilities, even 49 divine abilities were as rare as phoenix feathers and qilin horns. One needed to cultivate at least one heaven-level martial arts technique to perfection to condense a superpower. To cultivate a heaven-level martial arts technique to perfection, it would take at least a few years to a few decades. As for supreme martial arts, to condense supreme superpowers, it would take at least a few decades. The noble realm only had a lifespan of 1,000 years. Although many geniuses would stay in this realm for a long time, it was still too difficult to condense supreme superpowers. The second level of the sky-devouring secret skill can already devour the superpowers in the Dharma Laksana and turn them into my own use. Should I rob some geniuses from the holy lands of martial arts and obtain supreme superpowers from them? The corners of Ling Xiao's mouth curled up as he thought to himself. Although Ling Xiao had many cultivation methods for supreme superpowers, even if he was extremely talented, it would still take him a few years or even decades to condense a supreme superpower to perfection. Ling Xiao took a look at the supreme superpowers he had. 4 Elephants Sky Striking Style, 5 Elements Sky Sealing Style, 6 Paths of Reincarnation Style, Reincarnation Superpower, and the 4 Secret Skills were all considered supreme superpowers. However, for most of these, he had only cultivated to the great accomplishment or small accomplishment realm. Just like the true Phoenix secret technique, he was still stuck at the superficial level. If he wanted to condense a supreme divine ability, he did not know how long it would take. The great soul-destroying technique was Ling Xiao's first supreme superpower. Therefore, his cultivation level had completely stabilized at Noble Realm Level 1. The matter with the Lu family has been settled. I should leave this place. I'll find the precious treasure pavilion and ask about Shui Wei and the old goat's whereabouts. Then, I'll go to the Gemini Mountain to take a look. Finally, I'll go to the Crystal Palace to find Mother. Ling Xiao thought to himself as he planned his next itinerary. The Gemini Mountain was located in the east of the War God continent. It was hundreds of states and tens of millions of miles away from the Taixing state where Ling Xiao was now. Fortunately, the Crystal Palace was in the East Sea. It was on the way. Chapter 467. Lu Xiongshi, how did my son, Pei Long, die? If you don't give my Feng clan an explanation today, the Lu clan will completely disappear. A middle-aged man in black battle armor with long hair fluttering in the wind was shrouded in blazing multicolored light. His entire body was suffused with sharpness, and his gaze was gloomy as he stared at Lu Xiongshi. Lu Xiongshi laughed bitterly and said with a flattering smile, Feng clan head, I've already told you clearly. Nephew Feng Pei Long was killed by Ling Xiao. Our Lu clan has already sent experts to capture Ling Xiao. We will definitely give you a satisfactory answer. Although Lu Xiongshi still looked very weak, his body had already recovered. An Emperor Dao expert's vitality was extremely strong, and it was easy to regrow a severed limb. However, Lu Xiongxi's cultivation had yet to fully recover. Facing the incomparably powerful Feng Mo Dao, he could only smile. At the same time, Lu Xiongshi was secretly looking forward to it. As long as the old ancestor came out of seclusion, he would be able to kill Feng Mo Dao in an instant. At that time, the Lu clan would completely leave the Grand Star region, and even the Star sect wouldn't be able to find their whereabouts. Lu Xiongshi, do you really think I'm easy to deceive? How could a mere celestial realm brat possibly kill my son? Moreover, my second brother and my Feng clan's disciples have all died in your Lu clan. Feng Mo Dao's voice was extremely cold and filled with monstrous fury. Since you're so dishonest, then I'll capture you first. When the time comes to search your soul, I'll naturally get the answer I want. Feng Pei Long and those Feng clan's disciples' soul tablets shattered at the same time, causing a huge uproar in the Feng clan. Especially Feng Mo Dao, who was both shocked and furious as he killed his way to Stellar Sky City alone. However, after arriving at Stellar Sky City, Lu Xiongshi evaded in every possible way and didn't tell the truth, which instantly caused Feng Mo Dao to have killing intent. Boom! A terrifying aura burst out from Feng Mo Dao's body. His entire body radiated with sharpness like an unsheathed divine saber, emitting a domineering and terrifying power that caused the surrounding void to tremble slightly. Brother Feng, let's talk things out. Don't be rash. Lu Xiongshi's expression changed. Feng Mo Dao was actually going to make a move on him. Feng Mo Dao's cultivation was originally stronger than Lu Xiongshi, and Lu Xiongshi's injuries, so it was impossible for him to be a match. Crack. At this moment, the small silver mountain in the forbidden area of the Lu clan shone brightly. Ling Xiao left the small silver mountain and appeared in the void. Congratulations, elder ancestor. When Lu Xiongshi saw Ling Xiao, he thought that Lu Changhe had successfully taken over his body. He immediately knelt before Ling Xiao and spoke respectfully. All the disciples of the Lu family knelt down, their eyes filled with fanaticism. Feng Modeo glanced at Ling Xiao, his eyes revealing a trace of surprise as he said coldly, Lu Xiongshi, could it be that you're stupid? How dare you call a young man in the noble plane your ancestor? Feng Modeo, you actually dare to be rude to the ancestor? You're dead. Lu Xiongshi sneered. Ling Xiao's exit seemed to have given him great confidence, making him no longer afraid of the Feng Mo saber. Lu Xiongshi, although this young master feels great when you call me old ancestor, I don't have a grandson as old as you. Ling Xiao glanced at Lu Xiongshi and smiled lazily. What? Lu Xiongshi's entire body trembled as if he had seen a ghost and began to tremble. You're Ling Xiao. Lu Xiongshi's voice was unconsciously trembling. Wasn't the ancestor already going to take over Ling Xiao? Why was Ling Xiao still standing here perfectly fine? Then the ancestor, Lu Xiongshi already didn't dare to think about it, and his expression became incomparably ugly. Ling Xiao, where is the ancestor? Hearing Lu Xiongshi's angry roar, Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, Lu Changhe is deeply sinful and has already gone to see Heavenly Star Supreme. Lu Xiongshi's face immediately turned pale, and a trace of despair appeared in his eyes. The ancestor was a half-step supreme, and his strength was incomparably powerful. Even in the martial Dao Holy Land, he was a peerless expert. How could he not succeed if he wanted to take over Ling Xiao? You're Ling Xiao. Did you kill my son, Pei Long? Feng Modeo's eyes flashed with killing intent, and his voice was incomparably cold. Feng Pei Long. That's right, that brat didn't know what was good for him. He was indeed killed by me. You want to avenge him? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Feng Modeo was merely at the third level of the monarch realm. If it was before Ling Xiao broke through, then perhaps he would be slightly fearful. But at this moment, Ling Xiao had no intention to flee at all. Feng Modeo's gaze instantly turned gloomy. You're courting death. Rumble. A strand of vast energy erupted. Feng Modeo's palm blazed with blazing light, and then a black blade of light soared through the sky and slashed towards Ling Xiao. When an Emperor Realm expert condensed a divine ability, his attack carried monstrously terrifying might that shook the heavens and the earth. Even though Ling Xiao seemed to be looking down upon Feng Modeo, he was actually prepared for battle in his heart. Bang! Ling Xiao smashed his fist forward, causing the divine glow of the four symbols to shoot into the sky and transform into a chaotic fist that was invincible. The four elephants' sky-striking style contained great willpower, great wisdom, great destruction, and great strength. Ling Xiao was becoming more and more proficient in using it. He was already on the verge of cultivating it to the realm of perfection. Crack! The black blade of light was instantly blasted into pieces by Ling Xiao, and then Ling Xiao stood on a golden glow while divine light flickered in his eyes as he smashed it towards Feng Modeo's head. You're courting death. Feng Modeo was both shocked and furious. As soon as Ling Xiao made his move, he felt that this young man before him was extremely terrifying. The strength of his physical body was extremely abnormal, and his blood qi surged like a divine beast cub. Not only did he break Feng Modeo's attack, he even counterattacked. Rumble. Feng Modeo soared into the sky, and there seemed to be a resplendent divine ring behind him. There were 18 stars flickering within it, and 2 of them were extremely powerful, representing the 18 divine abilities that Feng Modeo cultivated. Feng Modeo slammed down with his palm, and the divine ring soared through the sky like a river of stars flying over. It was extremely resplendent and contained unparalleled power. This was the power of the divine ability Dharma Idol. It fused 18 divine abilities, and this attack was comparable to a supreme divine ability, causing Ling Xiao to feel a sense of danger. Kill! Ling Xiao's eyes were overflowing with battle intent. 5-colored divine light flowed around his body, and he soared into the sky like a heavenly pillar, sealing the heavenly pillar. His left hand used the 4 symbols Heaven Strike style, and his right hand used the 6 paths of reincarnation style. The 3 ultimate killing moves erupted at the same time. As if the primal chaos was repeating itself, the power of earth, water, wind, and fire filled the air. The world of reincarnation gushed with divine light, and mysterious visions of gods ascending appeared one after another, clashing with Feng Modeo's attack. Crack! The void trembled violently as countless bolts of lightning flashed. The Lu clan manor was completely destroyed. Countless huge ancient trees and exquisite palaces were turned into dust. Chapter 468. Great Soul-Destroying Art. After Ling Xiao and Feng Modeo clashed head-on, they advanced instead of retreating. 2 incomparably cold divine lights shot out from their eyes. Buzz! The 2 divine lights were incomparably deep and intertwined with each other. They contained a terrifying power and shot directly towards the center of Feng Modeo's eyebrows. It's actually a supreme divine ability. Feng Modeo's body trembled, and his eyes revealed an incomparably shocked expression. The great soul-destroying art that Ling Xiao used made his scalp tingle, and his primordial spirit trembled as if the end of the world had arrived. Feng Modeo didn't even think about it. A long black saber appeared in his hand, emitting a cold sharpness as it suddenly slashed down. However, the great soul-destroying art was invisible and directly targeted the primordial spirit. Unless Feng Modeo had a primordial spirit defensive treasure, he could only use the power of his primordial spirit to withstand it. Boom! A primordial spirit storm seemed to have arisen in Feng Modeo's primordial spirit. The great soul-destroying art shot out countless black divine lights, like endless sword qi, towards Feng Modeo's primordial spirit. Get lost! Feng Modeo roared. His primordial spirit bloomed with resplendent divine light, and runes filled the air. The majestic primordial spirit power blocked the attack of the great soul-destroying art, but in the end, he was still injured by a few soul-destroying divine lights, and his primordial spirit somewhat dimmed. Soul-destroying needle, go! A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. As the saying goes, take advantage of the other party's weakness. Just when Feng Modeo thought that he had finally blocked the great soul-destroying art and relaxed his mind, the soul-destroying needle flew through the air. It was extremely fast and instantly pierced through Feng Modeo's forehead, shooting towards his primordial spirit. This time, Feng Modeo's soul had completely left his body. The soul-destroying needle was ancient and mysterious. It was a supreme treasure that Lu Changhe had brought out of the God Burial Cave. It came from the same source as the great soul-destroying art. Ling Xiao could even feel an evil curse power from it. Once the primordial spirit was contaminated, one could only wait for death. The aura from the soul-destroying needle made Feng Modeo feel the threat of death. He instantly roared and began to burn the essence of his primordial spirit. He instantly set up layers of defensive restrictions, wanting to block the attack of the soul-destroying needle. Puff puff puff. Under the attack of the soul-extinguishing needle, the restrictions in Feng Modeo's sea of consciousness were like paper, instantly shattering. The soul-extinguishing needle directly pierced through Feng Modeo's primordial spirit, and a terrifying soul-extinguishing power erupted. Feng Modeo's primordial spirit instantly exploded. Ling Xiao did not stop there. With a flash of light in his right hand, a brick appeared. It was the heavenly steel of sun and moon. After being imbued with the heaven-devouring true qi, it instantly became as heavy as a divine mountain and slammed towards the Feng Mo saber. Crack! Feng Modeo's face was directly flattened by Ling Xiao. His head sank into his body. Flesh and blood flew everywhere, and he completely lost all signs of life. An Emperor realm expert was killed just like that by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao took a deep breath and shook his head with a bitter smile. Speaking of which, Ling Xiao wasn't satisfied with this battle. If he didn't rely on the soul annihilation needle and the heavenly steel of sun and moon, it would be impossible for Ling Xiao to kill Feng Modeo. At that time, it would be a bitter battle. Although the great soul annihilation spell was strong, Feng Modeo had condensed a divine ability, so his primordial spirit had a layer of defense. It wasn't that easy to completely destroy Feng Modeo's primordial spirit. As for Lu Xiongshi, Lu Tianlin, and even Lu Wan, they were all scared silly. Feng Modeo's cultivation was even higher than Lu Xiongxi's by a level, yet he died at Ling Xiao's hands just like that. They felt as if they were dreaming. With a flash of light in Ling Xiao's hand, he took Feng Modeo's storage ring and the black saber. The black saber was called the Feng Qin saber. It was a high-grade Dao artifact and could be considered quite precious. Unfortunately, before Feng Modeo could unleash its power, he died at Ling Xiao's hands. When Ling Xiao's gaze landed on Lu Xiongshi and the others, they were immediately shocked and began to tremble. Ling Xiao saved Lu Wan, but the Lu family repaid his kindness with enmity. Even the Lu family's ancestor, Lu Changhe, wanted to possess Ling Xiao, but he still died at Ling Xiao's hands. Ling Xiao probably wouldn't let the Lu family off, right? Just as Lu Xiongshi and Lu Tianlin were trembling and wanted to kneel down and beg for mercy, Ling Xiao retracted his gaze. For Lu Gachen's sake, I'll spare your lives. You're on your own. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Then, his body turned into a stream of light and shot into the distance, leaving Tianxing City. Ling Xiao left just like that. Lu Xiongshi and the others were stunned. They didn't expect Ling Xiao to let them off so easily. Now that he thought about it, Lu Xiongxi's mouth was filled with bitterness. If it wasn't for the Lu family looking down on others and wanting to use Ling Xiao's life to curry favor with the Feng family, such a thing wouldn't have happened, right? Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. The Lu family suffered heavy losses this time. Not only did they completely offend Ling Xiao, but they also offended the Feng family. Even their ancestor, Lu Changhe, was lost. Who is he? Does he really have a relationship with ancestor Tianxing? Lu Wan, looked at Ling Xiao's departing figure and felt lost. Originally, she was arrogant and had a high status. She looked down on Ling Xiao and thought that they weren't from the same world. But now, she understood that she and Ling Xiao were indeed not from the same world. An ant mocked a divine dragon, but they didn't know that the ant only had a small piece of land, while the divine dragon had the sky and the sea. The reason why Ling Xiao left Tianxing City so quickly was because he suddenly felt a sense of fear. That fear came from the depths of his soul. It was as if something terrible was about to happen. It was a feeling of impending disaster. That was why Ling Xiao left Tianxing City so quickly. The Lu family was no longer a threat to Ling Xiao. For Lu Gachen's sake, Ling Xiao let Lu Xiongshi and the others go. Swoosh! After Ling Xiao broke through to the noble realm, his teleportation secret art had also broken through to the minor completion realm. In an instant, he was thousands of meters away. His speed was extremely fast. Ling Xiao rushed towards the south. Finally, he entered a desolate mountain range and wiped out all his aura. Then, he used the sky-devouring secret art to conceal all his aura and changed his appearance. He jumped onto a void treasure ship and headed south. Just a few hours after Ling Xiao left the stellar sky city, the stars in the sky seemed to have lit up. A vast and mysterious aura presence descended, and an old man with white hair and beard descended from the void. He wore a starry Taoist robe, and his eyes were deep. He was like a powerful god, causing everyone in the stellar sky city to tremble in fear. The old man's face was filled with cold killing intent. A light flashed in his hand and countless runes spread out. Suddenly, a light screen appeared in front of him. It showed the scene of Ling Xiao killing Feng Peilong. "How dare you kill my disciple? Even if you escape to the ends of the earth, you will die without a doubt." Chapter 469. Rumble. The sky shook and boundless starlight fell. A divine rainbow traversed the universe and extended to the south. The elder took a step forward and there was a bright flowing light. He instantly appeared 1,000 feet away and chased to the south. "It's the elder of Star Palace." In the manner of Lu family in Tianxing City, Lu Xiongshi and the others felt the power that shook the universe. They were facing a great enemy. When they saw the elder in the void, they instantly recognized him. The elder was the elder of Star Palace, He Qingji. He Qingji was the deacon elder of Star Palace. It was said that he had broken through to half-step to Supreme Master a few hundred years ago. His power was unfathomable and he had a high position in Star Palace, second only to the Master of Star Palace and a few Supreme Elders. Lu Xiongshi never thought that He Qingji would value Feng Peilong so much that he would personally come to kill Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao is dead for sure this time. However, Lu family has offended Feng family and Star Palace. We can't stay in Tianxing City anymore. Pack up quickly and let's leave. Lu Xiongshi's eyes were cold and he quickly ordered Lu Tianlin and the others. "Grandfather, where are we going?" Lu Wan, looked haggard and her eyes were filled with confusion. "We are going to Azura province to seek shelter from your father. Your father is now an outer sect elder of Azura sect. With Azura sect's protection, even Feng family and Star Palace wouldn't dare to harm us." Lu Xiongshi said slowly and he felt a sense of urgency. "My father?" Lu Wan, was stunned and there was a glimmer of light in her eyes. Azura province was far away from Great Star province. Great Star province was at the northernmost part of War God land while Azura province was near the center. They were dozens of provinces apart. Azura sect was a martial arts sanctuary that wasn't weaker than Star Palace. Lu Wan's father, Lu Tianfeng, had been a disciple of Azura province since a long time ago. Lu Tianlin's eyes brightened and he said, "Father is right. Azura sect isn't weaker than Star Palace. They are even stronger. 10,000 years ago, there was a peerless figure like Azura Supreme. By then, with Wan's Heaven Star bloodline, if the Holy Son of Azura Sanctuary takes a fancy to her, Lu family will definitely rise again. Tianlin is right. With Wan's beauty and talent, in addition to her Heavenly Star bloodline, those peerless geniuses of the Azura Holy Land won't be able to resist her." Lu Xiongshi smiled as if he had seen new hope. Everyone from the Lu clan hurriedly packed up their things and took away all sorts of treasures. They left behind a few loyal clansmen to guard the Lu clan manor. They only brought along a few core disciples and hurriedly left Stellar Sky City, preparing to head to the Azura province. Ling Xiao boarded the Void treasure ship and left the Stellar Sky City. Even though he felt that he had erased all traces, he still couldn't get rid of that palpitating feeling. Taking the Void treasure ship is too slow. We have to leave the Grand Star State through the Void teleportation array. Ling Xiao's gaze was solemn. He had no doubt that the palpitations were caused by the experts from Feng family or Star Palace. It was said that the Feng family had a half-step supreme martial artist in charge and the Star Palace even had a true supreme martial artist. A true supreme martial artist could tear and travel through the void. They could travel 10,000 miles in an instant and their speed was extremely fast. If they wanted to chase after Ling Xiao, he wouldn't be able to escape. However, a true supreme martial artist was focused on comprehending the way of heaven. They wanted to see through the mystery of immortality, break through the barrier between man and God and break through to the divine realm. They shouldn't have the time to chase after him. In front is Precious Star City. There should be a void teleportation array in Precious Star City. Ling Xiao's gaze flickered and he saw that the land ahead was vast and lush. There was a huge city in the middle that was even more magnificent than Stellar Sky City. Ling Xiao had obtained the map of the Grand Star State from Lu Chenghe's storage ring. He knew that Precious Star City was one of the famous huge cities in the Grand Star State and there was a void teleportation array set up there. The distance between states was vast. If Ling Xiao wanted to leave the Grand Star State, even if the void treasure ship could travel 10,000 miles in a day, it would still take a few days to leave. To Ling Xiao, the speed was still too slow. If he were to use the void teleportation array, the speed would be much faster. Precious Star City is controlled by the Star Palace. I hope that the news of Feng Peilong's death hasn't reached the Star Palace yet. Ling Xiao thought to himself. He then kept the void treasure ship and turned into a flowing light as he plunged towards Precious Star City. Precious Star City looked dazzling. The city walls were a few hundred zhang tall. It was like a dormant Archean ferocious beast that gave out a boundless aura. At the city gate, there were many martial artists in silver star armor. They were the star guards of the Star Palace and they were extremely powerful. According to the requirements of the Star Palace, anyone who wanted to enter Precious Star City had to pay 100 spiritual crystals. 100 spiritual crystals. The Star Palace is really black-hearted. Ling Xiao cursed in his heart. There were more than a few 100,000 people entering and leaving Precious Star City every day. The number of spiritual crystals they collected every day was a terrifying number. Moreover, there were a few huge cities like Precious Star City in the Grand Star State and they brought in a lot of money for the Star Palace every day. Although Ling Xiao was anxious, he still queued up patiently. After paying 100 spiritual crystals, he entered Precious Star City quickly. What a rich star spiritual energy! After entering Precious Star City, it was as though he had come to another world. The spiritual energy was abundant and it was more than 10 times more than the outside of the city. If a martial artist could cultivate in Precious Star City for a long time, his cultivation would definitely improve by leaps and bounds. Ling Xiao nodded his head. After finding someone to ask about the location of the void teleportation formation, he quickly walked towards the center of Precious Star City. In the center of Precious Star City, there was a huge square that took up an area of 10,000 zhang. In the center, there was an ancient formation. There were 9 stone pillars that were filled with ancient intent and there were many mysterious runes on them. This was the void teleportation formation. However, if one wanted to leave through the void teleportation formation, the price wasn't cheap and it had to be paid with pure yang pills. The void teleportation formation could teleport 9 people at a time and the fee would be different according to the distance. This was the true treasure of the Star Palace. Ling Xiao could feel that among the guards of the void teleportation formation, there were a total of 3 experts of the Imperial Path. Moreover, there was a terrifying aura in Precious Star City. Although it was obscure, Ling Xiao could feel that it was an expert of half-step to supreme martial artist. There were many people who wanted to take the void teleportation formation. There were many star guards in silver armor guarding the surroundings. All of them had eagle-like eyes and their gazes were like lightning. They gave out an extremely powerful aura. In the Grand Star State, no one dared to create trouble in the void teleportation formation. When it was Ling Xiao's turn, a disciple of the Star Palace in a white robe looked at Ling Xiao in surprise. It was as though he didn't expect Ling Xiao to be a disciple of the noble realm at such a young age. Where to? Ling Xiao replied calmly, Qinghan City in the Grand Moon State. Chapter 470. 150 Pure Yang Elixirs. The young man in a white robe looked at Ling Xiao and said indifferently. Without hesitation, Ling Xiao took out 150 pure yang elixirs and handed them over. Then, he stood on the teleportation formation. The other 8 people who were heading to Qinghan City also walked on the teleportation formation. Activate. The young man in a white robe said slowly. Suddenly, the disciples of Star Palace activated the teleportation formation and the 9 stone pillars lit up instantly. It was as though there were 9 divine lights that soared into the sky. A mysterious aura enveloped Ling Xiao and the other 8 people. The void started to distort and a mysterious power of the rules of order descended. Ling Xiao knew that it was the rules of space. Only a true supreme expert who was a master of formation could set up a teleportation formation after comprehending the rules of space. Hence, the teleportation formation was rare and precious in the entire War God land. Stop the void teleportation formation. Just then, a cold voice was heard. An elder in a starry robe appeared in the sky above Precious Star City. His eyes were filled with blazing murderous intention. It was the deacon elder of Star Palace, He Qingji. His cold gaze seemed to have penetrated the void and landed on Ling Xiao. Shit, it's him. Ling Xiao's gaze changed. The feeling that made his heart palpitate appeared again and the source was the deacon of Star Palace. Hong. At this moment, the teleportation portal was completely activated. Once the boundless power of the void was activated, there was no way to reverse it. The void trembled and distorted. Ling Xiao and the other 8 disappeared from the teleportation portal in an instant. Damn it! He Qingji's face was gloomy. In order to chase after Ling Xiao, he had used up one of his secret treasures. His speed had reached the extreme, chasing after Ling Xiao's aura, but he hadn't expected that Ling Xiao would still be one step ahead of him. Greetings, Deacon Elder. When the disciples of Star Palace around the void teleportation formation saw He Qingji, they revealed respectful expressions and bowed to him one after another. Senior, he isn't cultivating in the sect but has come to Precious Star City. What a rare guest. In Precious Star City, a middle-aged man in star armor flew across the sky. He was the half-sovereign that Ling Xiao had sensed. Junior, I don't have time to chat with you. Just now, a murderer who killed my disciple left through the void teleportation array. Hurry up and activate the array. I want to chase after him. He Qingji glanced at the middle-aged man and said indifferently. Then, he directly landed in the void teleportation array. What? He actually dared to kill senior brother He's disciple. Did he eat a bear's heart and leopard's guts? Senior martial brother He, do you need me to go with you? The middle-aged man said with concern. No need, junior brother, you just have to guard Precious Star City properly. He's just an ant. Where does the teleportation array lead to? He Qingji shook his head and refused. The white-robed young man hurriedly said, Elder, I've just been teleported to Qinghan City in the Taiyin province. Alright, quickly send me to Pure Cold City. He Qingji said coldly. The disciples of Star Palace immediately checked the void teleportation formation, replenished the energy and activated the formation. After 15 minutes, there was a distortion in the void and He Qingji's figure instantly disappeared from the formation. Wang! There was a flash of light and Ling Xiao appeared in Pure Cold City after staying in the formation for an unknown period of time. Clear Cold City seemed to be shrouded in moonlight, controlled by the Moon Palace. Many beautiful women in white armor stood around the array, looking valiant and valiant. They were the Moon Guards, the disciples of the Moon Palace. It was said that the Moon Palace belonged to the Moon's spiritual lineage. Since ancient times, they had only taken in female disciples and had never taken in male disciples. Hence, the guards of the void teleportation formation were all beautiful women and it was a feast for the eyes. However, Ling Xiao obviously wasn't in the mood to look at the beauties. After exiting the formation, he quickly left Pure Cold City and used the secret skill of teleportation to move forward. In the south of Pure Cold City, there was an endless barren mountain range. It was also the border between the Taiyin province and the Taiyang province. There were even countless Archean variant species and powerful ferocious beasts. The reason why Ling Xiao didn't choose to take the teleportation formation was that there was a queue and the activation time was too slow. He believed that the Elder of Star Palace would definitely chase after him. If he didn't take the teleportation formation and leave by then, he would be like a turtle in a jar. With Ling Xiao's current cultivation, even if he had the soul-destroying needle, sky steel of sun and moon and sky-swallowing sword, it was impossible for him to deal with a half-step to Supreme Master. There are few people in this barren mountain range. It is said that there are some forbidden places that even Supreme Masters don't dare to set foot in. I hope I can get rid of the enemy. Ling Xiao thought to himself with a solemn expression. Being chased by a half-step to Supreme Master was definitely a life-threatening situation for Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao used the sky-swallowing secret skill to erase all of his qi. At the same time, he used the secret skill of teleportation to the extreme and headed towards the depths of the barren mountain range at an extremely fast speed. As expected, not long after Ling Xiao arrived at the barren mountain range, he felt a cold murderous intent emanating from pure cold city. It was as though it had locked onto him and was chasing after him rapidly. Faster, faster. Ling Xiao traversed through the barren mountain range like a ghost. In an instant, he traversed thousands of feet, passing through layers of forests and heading towards the depths of the barren mountain range. Ling Xiao, how dare you kill my disciple? Even if you run to the ends of the earth, I will tear you into pieces. A cold voice was heard. He Qingji stepped into the void, his eyes as cold as knives. Every step he took covered thousands of feet, as though he was teleporting. Soon, he was nearing Ling Xiao. Although He Qingji was only a half-step to Supreme Master, after so many years, he had comprehended a lot of the law of space. Therefore, his current speed was much faster than that of an ordinary Imperial Path expert. Ling Xiao's secret skill of teleportation was very powerful. If he cultivated it to the Great Completion Realm, he could teleport all the realms in the universe. However, Ling Xiao had only comprehended a little bit of it. His speed was much faster than an ordinary Noble Realm expert and even some Imperial Path experts. However, he was still much slower than He Qingji. He Qingji was less than 100 miles away from Ling Xiao, and he was still rapidly approaching. 50 miles. 30 miles. 20 miles. 10 miles. 1,000 feet. Just as He Qingji was nearing Ling Xiao, killing intent flashed in his eyes, and he suddenly reached out to grab Ling Xiao. Buzz! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a trace of sharpness. He secretly took out the heavenly star god eye and instantly activated all of its power. A terrifying destructive divine light shot towards He Qingji behind him. What? He Qingji's expression changed greatly. He did not stay in the Heavenly Star City and did not have the time to interrogate the people of the Lu clan. He did not know that Ling Xiao had such a powerful weapon, the Heavenly Star God Eye. Chapter 471. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled. The destructive divine light from the Heavenly Star Divine Light contained a power that could destroy everything. It blasted the area around He Qingji into nothingness. The towering ancient trees were reduced to dust and the huge rocks were shattered. It was as if a hurricane had swept through the area. It was a complete mess. As for He Qingji's starry robe, which was originally a defensive treasure, it was now in tatters. Furthermore, there was a huge hole in He Qingji's chest. His flesh was badly mangled, and he looked extremely miserable. The power in the Heavenly Star Divine Eye is still too weak. If I used all my strength, I could definitely kill this old man. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of regret. Now, there was not much destructive divine power left in the Heavenly Star Divine Eye. Even if Ling Xiao used all his strength, he could only cause so little damage. Ling Xiao was not satisfied. Ling Xiao glanced at He Qingji, performed a teleportation secret technique, and fled decisively. Ling Xiao, you deserve to die. He Qingji's eyes instantly became bloodshot. There was a violent rage in his eyes as if he was about to go berserk. The destructive divine light from the heavenly star divine eye was too terrifying. At that moment, He Qingji felt the threat of death. If the destructive divine light was a little stronger, He Qingji would definitely be dead. Even so, He Qingji's supreme grade Dao tool, star robe, was completely shattered. Moreover, his internal organs were also destroyed, causing him to suffer heavy injuries. If it were not for He Qingji's tenacious vitality, he would have been completely destroyed. Boom! He Qingji burned his life essence and activated the vitality contained in his body. His flesh and blood were constantly wriggling. A powerful vitality spread out and began to repair his damaged body. He Qingji hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. At the same time, he was also full of fear. He moved and chased after Ling Xiao. However, he did not dare to go too fast for fear that Ling Xiao would have a powerful backup plan. Boom! He Qingji launched a palm strike in the air. The terrifying palm strike stirred the sky. Ling Xiao's scalp went numb. He suddenly leaped forward, and the mountain behind him turned into dust. The terrifying divine light shot over, leaving behind a bloody scar on Ling Xiao's back. Old bastard, sooner or later, I'll kill you. Ling Xiao's gaze was extremely cold, but he did not stop at all. He continued to use his secret technique and flew towards the depths of the mountain. Boom! 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 He Qingji stood in the air, his eyes blazing with murderous intent. He was incomparably cruel as he continued to attack Ling Xiao from afar with powerful divine abilities. One mountain after another was shattered, and countless towering ancient trees were reduced to dust. Cracks appeared on the ground, and although Ling Xiao tried his best to dodge, he was still affected by the shockwaves and began to suffer injuries. Even though half-supremes weren't like supremes who could dominate the laws of heaven and earth, they still possessed some of the might of supremes. It was something that emperors couldn't compare to. A casual strike from He Qingji was not what Ling Xiao could withstand. And this was after He Qingji had already been severely injured by Ling Xiao. If he was an uninjured half-step supreme being, Ling Xiao would not have been able to last more than a few moves. Bang! Ling Xiao was sent flying again. Even though his physical body was extremely strong, his cultivation was still too weak. He was 2 realms away from He Qingji, and there were more than a dozen small realms between him and He Qingji. Even if Ling Xiao possessed heaven-defying martial arts, he could only sullenly flee. Pfft! Ling Xiao spat out blood, and his face turned extremely pale. His internal organs were severely injured, and he was running for his life while being chased. Ling Xiao was about to reach his limit. Run? Let's see where you can run to. Little bastard, you dare to kill my disciple. Let's see who can save you today. He Qingji's gaze was cold, and it was filled with mockery and cruelty. At the same time, he was amazed at Ling Xiao's tenacious vitality. A mere LV1 noble realm brat was still alive under his continuous attacks, and even had the strength to run for his life. Ling Xiao did not say a word, and his gaze was extremely cold. At the same time, he was preparing a peerless attack in his heart. If I combine the great soul-destroying skill with the soul-destroying needle, in addition to the power of the wordless heavenly book, and the essence of my primordial spirit, I might be able to severely injure this old bastard. Ling Xiao thought to himself. The great soul-destroying skill was extraordinary, and the soul-destroying needle was a treasure. Ling Xiao had tried it before, and if he burned his primordial spirit, he would be able to unleash the terrifying power of the great soul-destroying skill and the soul-destroying needle with the help of the wordless heavenly book. However, Ling Xiao would also be severely injured. In this dangerous barbaric mountain range, even if he killed He Qingji, he would probably fall into a coma. He might even be eaten by the demons. I have no choice. I can only fight. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with a sharp light, and he was preparing a peerless attack. Ling Xiao and He Qingji had gone deep into the barbaric mountain range. Even though Ling Xiao had the map of the Taiyin continent, he did not know where he was. He was surrounded by towering mountains, which were vast and majestic. Ancient trees towered into the sky, and there were powerful roars of beasts and monstrous demonic chi. In front of him was a valley filled with fog. It looked vast and boundless, and it was filled with a mysterious fluctuation. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he rushed into the foggy valley. Buzz! The mist looked very ethereal, and it emitted a cold and gloomy aura. It was as if it was the aura of death that came from the depths of hell, making Ling Xiao feel very uncomfortable. Boom! When He Qingji saw Ling Xiao rushing into the foggy valley below, he slapped again. The monstrous palm print contained an unparalleled sharpness, and he wanted to break through the valley and force Ling Xiao out. However, when the palm print came into contact with the fog, it instantly shattered, as if it had hit an incomparably mysterious space. The white fog was ethereal, and it was not affected at all. What? He Qingji's eyes flashed, and he also felt a very mysterious qi. Boom! At this moment, the terrifying white fog rose, and suddenly covered He Qingji, who was in midair. The white fog was boundless, and he could not tell where he was at this moment. He Qingji's face instantly turned serious, and he felt a fluctuation that made his scalp tingle. Ling Xiao was in front of him, but he did not chase after Ling Xiao. Instead, he looked into the distance vigilantly. Dong! 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 It was as if a giant hammer was beating the sky. A huge drum sound came from afar, and it was filled with ancient, desolate, and mysterious fluctuations that made one's blood boil. Chapter 472. Could it be? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as if he had thought of something. As the footsteps got closer, Ling Xiao saw a group of soldiers in tattered armor walking out of the white fog with spears in their hands. Their steps were slow and orderly, with a strange rhythm. The armor was broken, and the spears were filled with a deathly aura. The bodies of the soldiers were formed by black fog, and there were 2 balls of ghostly fire flickering in their eye sockets. Even though Ling Xiao was now a LV1 Noble Realm expert, he still felt a chill run down his spine when he saw these soldiers. It was an unimaginable horror. Soldiers of the dead passing by, dragons and phoenixes pulling coffins. Ling Xiao's eyes were full of solemnity. He had once seen a group of Yin soldiers traversing through a strange white fog in the 8 Desolates region. Furthermore, there was a huge bone dragon and bone phoenix pulling a huge bronze coffin. Boom! The earth trembled and the sky trembled. An ancient and desolate aura filled the air. Among the endless army of undead, 1,000-foot-long bone dragon and 1,000-foot-long bone phoenix pulled a giant bronze coffin and slowly approached. Just like the bone phoenix, the bone dragon and bone phoenix were completely black. They looked like black divine jade, white and flawless, and exuded an ancient and desolate aura. The aura seemed to have come from ancient times, and it exuded a power that made one's heart tremble. It was exactly the same as what Ling Xiao had seen in the Beast Mountain. But why were the soldiers of the Bone Dragon and Bone Phoenix on the War God continent? Ling Xiao's heart was filled with doubts. Could it be that there's also a bronze divine palace here? A sharp glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes. He slowly followed behind the Yin soldier and walked forward. He Qingji was also shocked by the scene before him. The endless soldiers of the dead all exuded a terrifying aura, especially the Bone Dragon and Bone Phoenix in the center. He could not help but kneel down and worship them. Although He Qingji was half a step away from being a supreme being, he had never seen such a terrifying scene before. Although He Qingji wanted to kill Ling Xiao right now, he vaguely felt that if he dared to make a move here, he would probably die without a burial place. The Bone Dragon and Bone Phoenix, such a terrifying aura far surpasses that of a supreme being. Could they have been gods when they were alive? Who is in the bronze coffin? He Qingji did not dare to think about it anymore. He felt as if he had stumbled upon an earth-shattering secret. Let's follow them and see. He Qingji clenched his teeth. Although he felt the danger, he was unwilling to let Ling Xiao go just like that. He was also unwilling to miss such a great opportunity. Therefore, he hung at the back of the group and slowly walked forward. Ling Xiao glanced at He Qingji indifferently, his eyes filled with mockery. Rumble. The Yin soldiers escorted the bronze coffin as they slowly advanced forward. The surrounding white mist was thick and dense, like the mist of primal chaos. It was filled with a mysterious and vast power. Ling Xiao could feel that the wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness was emitting a faint glow. There was a wave of joy and nostalgia spreading out. It seems like the wordless heavenly book has some mysterious connection with the existence inside the bronze coffin. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he recalled his encounter in the Eight Desolates region. Could it be that there was another bronze divine palace in front of them? Boom! The mist became thicker and thicker. They could no longer see their surroundings clearly. After walking for an unknown period of time, the scene before them suddenly opened up. A bronze divine palace stood in the midst of the primal chaos. It was overflowing with dazzling divine light, like an immortal ancient sacred mountain, exuding a majestic aura. The entire body of the bronze divine palace was made of green divine gold. It looked perfect and flawless, exuding dazzling green divine light. Moreover, there were many mysterious runes that intertwined, as if they were describing the truth of heaven and earth. Could it be that there really is the inheritance of a deity here? He Qingji, who was at the back of the group, was also completely shocked. His eyes were burning with passion. This bronze divine palace was not something that could be made by humans. The aura it gave off made even a prime tremble and want to kneel down and worship it. It was definitely a miracle. Boom! When the Yin soldiers slowly walked to the front of the bronze divine palace, the two bronze doors suddenly opened. Endless primal chaos filled the air as all the Yin soldiers slowly walked into the divine palace. The bone dragon and bone phoenix pulled the huge bronze coffin and stopped outside the divine palace. Rumble. The bronze divine palace slowly glowed. A blazing divine rainbow streaked across the sky and shone on the bronze coffin, enveloping the bone dragon and bone phoenix. In the primal chaos, lightning flashed. It was mysterious and vast. The runes on the bronze coffin seemed to have been activated in an instant. Runes filled the air like divine chains. The bronze coffin slowly opened, and a divine light shot into the sky, illuminating the endless void. Ling Xiao used his mental strength to control the wordless heavenly book, preventing it from going berserk. He was afraid that the wordless heavenly book would attract the attention of the bronze coffin again. Ling Xiao knew that the wordless heavenly book attracting the attention of the bronze coffin would not bring any harm. In fact, it might even give Ling Xiao a chance. However, Ling Xiao just wanted to see what was inside the bronze coffin. The divine light was dazzling. Ling Xiao glanced at He Qingji behind him and walked towards the bronze coffin. A terrifying aura filled the air. It was like a supreme deity that had created the world. It was noble, mysterious, and ancient. One could not help but want to kneel down and worship it. Ling Xiao forcefully suppressed that impulse and slowly walked towards the bronze coffin. Is this brat courting death? But, it's good to let him scout the way first. He Qingji's eyes flashed. Everything here was beyond his imagination. He did not dare to act rashly. However, Ling Xiao walked towards the bronze coffin. He Qingji made up his mind. If there was no danger after Ling Xiao went over, he would immediately kill Ling Xiao. Rumble. The closer he got to the bronze coffin, the more terrifying the power was. It directly affected his soul. If it were not for the wordless heavenly book protecting Ling Xiao's primordial spirit, he would not have been able to reach the bronze coffin. Ling Xiao finally stood in front of the bronze coffin. He took a deep breath and looked inside the bronze coffin. What? When Ling Xiao saw what was inside the bronze coffin, his body trembled. His eyes revealed a look of disbelief. There was another coffin inside the bronze coffin. It was a black coffin, exactly the same as the one Ling Xiao saw on the underworld ship. Furthermore, the black coffin was opened as well. Countless runes filled the air, and the galaxy was boundless. Within the boundless primordial chaos, a terrifying figure could be seen lying there. It was like a supreme emperor that controlled the myriad of worlds. Its face was exactly the same as Ling Xiao's. Chapter 473. This black coffin was too demonic. If Ling Xiao had not experienced it once and knew that everything before him was just an illusion, he would have thought that it was real. The 81 ancient words that he saw in the black coffin suddenly appeared in Ling Xiao's mind. The mysterious aura intertwined, and the scene before him changed. The black coffin was still the black coffin, but the terrifying figure inside was gone. What is real, and what is fake? Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of doubt. The black coffin in front of him was filled with chaotic aura, as if it contained a world. At this moment, Ling Xiao was even a little confused. Was there a supreme existence's corpse in the black coffin? Why was the black coffin in the bronze coffin? Coffin. Ling Xiao suddenly thought of two words. When the ancient ancestors buried the gods, the coffin was used to hold the corpse, and the coffin was used as the outer coffin. In other words, the bronze coffin was actually the outer coffin, and the black coffin was the actual coffin that held the corpse. However, Ling Xiao could not see any corpse at all. Boom! At this moment, Ling Xiao felt an air-piercing sound, and a chilling murderous intent came from behind his head. Ling Xiao's figure flashed, and he dodged in an instant. He Qingji made a move, and his palm missed. However, he did not release the palm energy and did not land on the bronze coffin. Obviously, He Qingji also knew that the bronze coffin was important. Although he wanted to kill Ling Xiao, he did not dare to disturb everything here. Old thing, you will die without a doubt. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of murderous intent as he stared at He Qingji. Little bastard, are you familiar with this place? Tell me the secret here, and I can let you live. Otherwise, you will die without a doubt. He Qingji's eyes were filled with greed and murderous intent. Everything here was beyond his imagination, and it made He Qingji faintly feel that there must be a great opportunity here. Perhaps it was the legendary place of inheritance of a powerful god. However, Ling Xiao looked very calm. Since he could casually come in front of the bronze coffin, he must know something. Even if I know, so what? Why should I tell you? I can only tell you one thing, and that is you are dead. Ling Xiao smiled coldly, and his eyes revealed a trace of icy sharpness. Little bastard, since you don't know the difference between life and death, this old man will kill you and search your soul. Then, I will naturally know the secret of this place. He Qingji's eyes were cold, and a terrifying aura emanated from his body. He wanted to attack Ling Xiao. A hint of mockery appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes. He immediately released the seal on the wordless heavenly book. Immediately, the wordless heavenly book's aura filled the air. Boom! After the bronze coffin felt the presence of the wordless heavenly book, it immediately emitted a blazing light and flew towards the bronze temple. Little bastard, you really do know the secret of this place. He Qingji's eyes lit up. He leaped up and rushed toward the bronze temple. Rumble. After Ling Xiao flew into the bronze temple, the huge bronze door instantly closed. Just as He Qingji was about to enter, the runes on the bronze palace lit up, and a terrifying lightning bolt shot towards He Qingji. Not good. He Qingji's expression changed drastically, and he quickly retreated. However, the lightning bolt was extremely terrifying. It instantly pierced through his chest and turned half of his body into ashes. The terrifying lightning bolt was like a heavenly tribulation, and it made He Qingji's scalp tingle. He immediately retreated from the bronze temple's range, and the lightning bolt gradually dimmed. Just a single lightning bolt was enough to severely injure a half-step supreme being. If all those lightning bolts were to explode, even a true supreme being would be blasted to smithereens. Fortunately, He Qingji retreated quickly, and he managed to keep his life. Little bastard, I will wait for you here. I don't believe that you won't come out forever. Cough cough. He Qingji hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. His eyes were filled with cold murderous intent, and his face was extremely pale. He kept coughing out blood. The injury this time was even more terrifying than the destructive power of Ling Xiao's heavenly star god eyes. It almost killed him completely. He Qingji didn't dare to continue into the bronze temple. He could only sit cross-legged outside, healing his injuries while waiting. In the bronze temple, Ling Xiao seemed to have come to a world of stars. There were huge stars revolving around him, and it was as though there was an endless world. Chaotic fog filled the air, and the surroundings were silent. There was only a sun in front of him that was emitting blazing light, and it looked extremely mysterious. However, the sun was swallowing the essence of heaven and earth, and it was flickering. It was as though there was a mysterious fluctuation being emitted, causing the surrounding stars to tremble. What is this place? Ling Xiao's expression changed. He originally thought that the bronze temple would be filled with endless extraterrestrial demons, and that killing the extraterrestrial demons would allow him to obtain powerful divine souls. However, he didn't expect that the bronze temple would be filled with a different scene. Could it be that the scene in every bronze temple is different? Ling Xiao thought to himself. It was too quiet here. There was only the surrounding stars, and the mysterious sun in front of him. Ling Xiao's gaze moved. When he focused on the sun, he realized that there was a figure in the sun. It was formed by the essence of fire, and it was shrouded in gorgeous flames. It looked exactly like Ling Xiao. Roar! A majestic dragon roar filled the air, and the figure walked out from the sun. There was a powerful dragon aura around him, and he was like an ancient true dragon. His physical body was extremely terrifying. It was another Ling Xiao. Boom! That Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely cold and filled with killing intent. Without saying a word, he clenched his fist and charged towards Ling Xiao. Is this sun a replica of another me? Ling Xiao felt that this place was even more mysterious, but he didn't dare to be careless. He charged towards the other Ling Xiao. Rumble! The two figures collided violently, and a terrifying aura filled the air, causing the surrounding stars to tremble. Ling Xiao was sent flying almost instantly. The Ling Xiao in front of him exploded with the dragon burst superpower, and golden light shone around him. It was as though he had transformed into an ancient true dragon. His physical body was invincible, and he punched through Ling Xiao's physical body, causing him to explode. It was too brutal. Flesh and blood flew everywhere, and Ling Xiao felt that even his primordial spirit had exploded into a bloody mist. Buzz! Just as Ling Xiao felt that he had died just like that, the blood mist condensed in the void and reformed his body once again. A mysterious fluctuation flickered in Ling Xiao's heart. It was as though Ling Xiao had completely comprehended the previous punch. In this battle of life and death, Ling Xiao's understanding of the secret skills of the ancestor dragon improved by leaps and bounds. There is great terror in life and death, but there is also great fortune. Is this the fortune of the Bronze Temple? Chapter 474. Rumble. Although Ling Xiao's clone was also at the first level of the noble realm like Ling Xiao, he was able to unleash his maximum physical strength. His fist radiance was unparalleled, and when he punched, the world would tremble. He was like a primordial dragon with unparalleled power. Compared to his clone, Ling Xiao felt that although he had cultivated the ancestral dragon's secret skill to the flying dragon body, he had only scratched the surface of this secret skill. He was far from mastering the essence of this secret skill. Ling Xiao did not know how many times he had died under his clone's fist. Although he could quickly revive every time he was killed, the feeling of death was so real. In such a life-and-death battle, Ling Xiao's comprehension of the ancestral dragon's secret skill improved rapidly. On the first day, the clone could kill Ling Xiao with one punch. Ling Xiao had died thousands of times. On the 10th day, the clone needed 3 punches to kill Ling Xiao. On the 30th punch, Ling Xiao could already withstand 10 moves from the clone. On the 100th day, Ling Xiao could withstand 50 moves. Although he was still at a disadvantage, he could still survive. Just like that, Ling Xiao did not know how many days, months, or even years had passed. Ling Xiao seemed to be tireless as he fought with his clone. His battle intent soared and he fought fiercely in this world of stars. Rumble. One day, Ling Xiao soared into the sky. Chaotic chi seemed to pervade his body. He punched out with his soul and the endless stars in Zhou Tian dimmed at this moment. All the starlight gathered on Ling Xiao's fist like a storm. It was as if he had broken through some limit of power and punched at the clone. This time, the clone did not resist at all and was directly killed by Ling Xiao. Buzz! Ling Xiao felt that his comprehension of the ancestral dragon's secret skill had reached an extreme. He had comprehended all the mysteries of the ancestral dragon's secret skill. In Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, there seemed to be an unparalleled ancestral dragon that was billions of miles long and exuded an ancient and mysterious aura. This time, the violent dragon's superpower that Ling Xiao had comprehended was completely perfected. It turned into a bright star and integrated into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Berserk Dragon Divine Ability, so this is the true Berserk Dragon Divine Ability. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a faint look of joy. It turned out that the true Berserk Dragon mystique was not purely about increasing one's battle prowess. More importantly, it was about elevating one's level of life, allowing one to unleash all sorts of unbelievable powers in an instant. The so-called power of miracles was included in the Violent Dragon God art. The Violent Dragon superpower is the second superpower that I have comprehended. Now, I can break through to the second level of the noble realm. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with excitement. This divine bronze palace was truly a place that could seize the fortune of heaven and earth. It contained endless mysteries. Although Ling Xiao had spent a long time to fully understand the Berserk Dragon God power, Ling Xiao knew that it was because of the fear between life and death. If he had relied on his own cultivation, it would have taken him hundreds of years to fully understand the Berserk Dragon God power. The secret technique of the ancestral dragon was all-encompassing, and what Ling Xiao comprehended from it was the Berserk Dragon Divine Ability. It was Ling Xiao's Violent Dragon Theurgy. Perhaps I'll be able to comprehend all the divine abilities to the extreme here. A look of understanding flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes. He activated the sky-devouring secret skill and looked at the mysterious sun in front of him. Boom! The sun emitted an endless amount of brilliant light. Auspicious chi surged and spiritual essence swirled around. A replica of Ling Xiao walked out from the sun. The only difference was that this replica represented the ultimate state of the sky-devouring secret skill. Boom! Almost at the same instant when the clone appeared, it was as if there was an overflowing flame in its eyes. A terrifying flame that could engulf the heavens and devour the earth instantly engulfed Ling Xiao and burned him to ashes. This was the power of the sky-devouring fire. It represented the ultimate sky-devouring fire. The feeling of being burned by the fire and having one's spiritual soul destroyed was too real and painful. Many times, Ling Xiao thought that he was really dead. However, every time Ling Xiao died, he would quickly revive and then fight with his clone. However, the power of the sky-devouring fire was too terrifying. Until the 100th day, Ling Xiao did not know how many times he had died before he could barely withstand the sky-devouring fire. A year later, Ling Xiao's jade-like skin emitted a mysterious luster as if there were runes everywhere. Only then could he barely survive the burning of the sky-devouring fire. Just like that, Ling Xiao used a full 10 years to comprehend the wonders of the sky-devouring fire and completely destroy the replica. The third supreme superpower, sky-devouring fire. Next was the secret skill of teleportation and the secret skill of True Phoenix. Ling Xiao used 5 years to kill the replica of the secret skill of teleportation and comprehended the teleportation superpower from the secret skill of teleportation. Ling Xiao used more than 10 years to kill the replica of the secret skill of True Phoenix and comprehended the Nirvana superpower. The 7 limits divine skill of devouring heaven and earth had 7 styles. In fact, each style was a supreme superpower and represented the ultimate martial arts that Ling Xiao had comprehended in his previous life. Now, Ling Xiao had already cultivated the 4 elements sky striking style, 5 elements sealing style, and 6 paths of reincarnation style. Ling Xiao comprehended these 3 supreme superpowers very quickly. After all, they were created by Ling Xiao himself. He only used a few days to completely comprehend the 3 supreme superpowers. Finally, there was the reincarnation superpower that Ling Xiao obtained from Panga Chu. The reincarnation superpower was incomparably mysterious and contained the mystery of life and death. The replica that came out from the sun had terrifying strength. The number of times Ling Xiao was killed by the reincarnation superpower was more than the number of times he was killed by all the previous superpowers. It took Ling Xiao more than 100 years to comprehend the reincarnation mystique. After dying countless times, he finally managed to comprehend this mystique. Great Soul Destruction Technique, Violent Dragon Divine Skill, Sky Devouring Fire, Greater Teleportation Superpower, Nirvana Superpower, 4 Elephants Sky Striking Style, 5 Elements Sealing Style, 6 Paths of Reincarnation Style, and Reincarnation Superpower. After these 9 supreme superpowers were comprehended by Ling Xiao, the galaxy in Zhou Tian seemed to dim, and the sun in front of him seemed to have been drained of its power and became incomparably weak. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged at the center of the river of stars. There was a mysterious ring behind his head, and there were 9 dazzling stars revolving around it. Divine light surged, and talisman markings were resplendent, causing Ling Xiao to seem extremely mysterious. He was like an extraordinary god that caused others to be unable to help but prostrate themselves in worship. What a pity! Ling Xiao sighed. After nearly 200 years of cultivation, Ling Xiao finally understood that the sun and the endless stars in front of him were the source of his continuous resurrection, his continuous life and death experiences, and his continuous comprehension of the supreme superpower. After Ling Xiao comprehended the 9 great supreme divine abilities, all the energy was finally completely exhausted. At this moment, Ling Xiao possessed the 9 supreme superpowers and had experienced countless life and death experiences. There was a trace of vicissitudes in his eyes as if he had seen through life and death. As long as he had enough energy, Ling Xiao could quickly break through to the 9th level of the noble realm. With this land of fortune, it took me nearly 200 years to cultivate the 9 supreme superpowers. If I were to cultivate by myself, I'm afraid even 1,000 years wouldn't be enough to complete the 9 supreme superpowers. Ling Xiao sighed softly. Then, 2 beams of bright divine light shot out from his eyes. It was like the absolute beginning divine light that could split the heavens and earth apart, destroying everything in its path. Chapter 475. The reason why Ling Xiao dared to spend 200 years in the Divine Bronze Palace to cultivate the 9 supreme superpowers was because he could feel that the flow of time in the Divine Bronze Palace was a few hundred times faster than the outside world. In other words, Ling Xiao spent 200 years in the Divine Bronze Palace, but only a few months had passed in the outside world. However, in these 200 years, Ling Xiao had forged a supreme Taoist foundation and 9 supreme supernatural powers. Each of them was an earth-shattering supreme technique. Ling Xiao's martial arts foundation had become extremely solid. Although he was still at the first level of the noble realm, as long as he had enough pure yang pills, he could quickly break through to the 9th level of the noble realm. With the 9 supreme superpowers, as long as I don't encounter those peerless geniuses in the noble realm, I'll be unstoppable. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a hint of a sigh. Although the 9 transcendent supernatural powers seemed very strong, this was something that Ling Xiao had comprehended with his own strength. There were many peerless geniuses of martial arts holy lands that were born with a golden spoon in their bodies. When the sect's senior masters died, they would extract the transcendent supernatural power law stars from their bodies and fuse them into their bodies. Therefore, many peerless geniuses were able to cultivate countless powerful superpowers when they were in the noble realm, but they didn't necessarily cultivate them themselves. Buzz! Just as the Milky Way was about to be destroyed, the golden body of the primordial spirit in Ling Xiao's mind seemed to have broken through a bottleneck and instantly began to expand. The golden body of the primordial spirit, which was originally 16 feet tall, grew to 99 feet tall before it gradually quieted down. The golden body of the primordial spirit sat cross-legged in a dazzling Milky Way world. It was surrounded by 9 stars of laws and looked extremely mysterious. The power of the primordial spirit has finally broken through to the monarch realm. Breaking through to the primordial spirit is much more difficult than breaking through to the next level. Ling Xiao's face was filled with faint joy. After his primordial spirit broke through to the next level, Ling Xiao felt that the world was different again. It was as if there were many colorful lines of laws in the world, which looked extremely mysterious. It was as if gently moving those lines of laws could give Ling Xiao terrifying power. It's a pity that the energy in the divine bronze palace is still too little. Otherwise, if I could successfully cultivate the cosmic eyes, I would be able to condense the 10th supreme superpower. There was a trace of pity in Ling Xiao's eyes, but he was already very satisfied. This bronze divine hall was simply a place of fortune. The supreme divine abilities condensed from life and death seemed to have fused with Ling Xiao's blood and bones, allowing him to unleash unparalleled power with his attacks. They also contained the secrets of time. Wang! As if it had sensed Ling Xiao's intentions, countless rays of bright starlight, containing an incomparably vast amount of star power, instantly fused into the heavenly star god eye, causing the energy in the heavenly star god eye to become incomparably abundant in an instant. The heavenly star godly eyes emitted a silver glow, like the eyes of the heavenly Tao, indifferent and cold, containing a biting cold murderous intent. Ha ha ha! With the power of the heavenly star god eyes, I want to see where that old bastard can escape to this time. Ling Xiao laughed loudly. The light around him changed, and the chaotic qi lingered. The Milky Way world disappeared, and Ling Xiao was sent out of the bronze palace. Outside the bronze palace, He Qingji was about to go crazy. 4 to 5 months had passed, but there was no movement from Ling Xiao after he entered the bronze palace. He Qingji had thought of giving up a few times, but in the end, he persevered. Everything in front of him was too mysterious. It made He Qingji firmly believe that there was definitely the inheritance of a supreme god. He had always believed that Ling Xiao would definitely come out. As long as he killed Ling Xiao and snatched the inheritance, it wouldn't be impossible for He Qingji to become the master of Star Palace in the future. For the past 4 to 5 months, although He Qingji had been recuperating, the Bronze Palace had caused too much damage to him. Half of his body had been shattered, and his life essence had been greatly damaged. After such a long time, he had only recovered 50% of his power. If he wanted to fully recover his cultivation, he would need another year and a half. Hence, He Qingji hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. Wang! Just then, the Bronze Palace gave out a bright glow, enveloping Ling Xiao as he appeared outside the hall. Ling Xiao, you finally decided to come out. He Qingji's eyes instantly turned red, and his face was filled with ferocious killing intent. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He didn't expect He Qingji to still be here. Such a shocking bronze palace must be very attractive to He Qingji. Old man, you haven't left yet. Are you courting death? A sharp glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes as his lips curled into a cold smile. He Qingji's eyes flashed. He suddenly realized that Ling Xiao was different. Although he was still at LV1 of the noble realm, he had an additional dangerous and vicissitude aura, as if he had lived through countless years. The sharpness in Ling Xiao's eyes sent chills down He Qingji's spine. Sharp-tongued bastard. You're only at LV1 of the noble realm. So what if you have some inheritance? If you know what's good for you, give it to me and I can spare your life. Although He Qingji was shocked, he was even more excited. He firmly believed that Ling Xiao must have received the supreme inheritance. I did receive the supreme inheritance, and it's the inheritance of a supreme god. Do you want it? I'll give it to you. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a cold smile. He suddenly took out the heavenly star god eye and shone it at He Qingji. What? He Qingji was so frightened that his expression changed. He flashed and instantly moved dozens of feet away. However, he realized that the heavenly star god eye didn't move at all. He immediately knew that he had been tricked by Ling Xiao. Bastard, you dare to trick me? Your treasure's energy has already been used up. Since you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, don't blame me for being rude. He Qingji's eyes flashed with killing intent as he slammed his palm down at Ling Xiao. He didn't know if Ling Xiao did it on purpose or not, but he had already left the area covered by the bronze palace. This gave He Qingji a good opportunity. As long as he severely injured Ling Xiao and captured him, he would have no choice but to do what he wanted. However, there was no trace of panic on Ling Xiao's face. He was calm and indifferent, and there was a hint of mockery in his eyes. When He Qingji was about to get close to Ling Xiao, a terrifying and boundless force exploded. Not good. He Qingji's expression changed greatly. The heavenly star god eye that seemed to have run out of energy actually shot out a terrifying ray of divine light of destruction towards He Qingji's head. Didn't the heavenly star god eye already run out of energy? How could it still unleash such a terrifying force? No matter how He Qingji thought about it, he couldn't understand. He Qingji only had time to move his body up a few feet, and the divine light of destruction instantly exploded. Below He Qingji's chest, it instantly turned into nothingness. Blood didn't seem to have time to flow out, and the wound was incomparably smooth. After a long time, He Qingji felt the intense pain and couldn't help but scream. Instantly, blood spurted out, and his flesh was badly mangled. He looked very miserable. Boom! Ling Xiao's gaze was incomparably cold. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he retracted the heavenly star god eye and directly punched out, "You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.